Welcome to episode 24 of the Current Backloggers. The date is July 23rd. I'm your host, KCP, along with my good friend and co-host, Cody G. Cody, how's it going?
I don't know if I'm your good friend anymore with these intros. I feel like that was louder than the last one.
It was. That was my trick. But the power went out, so we're recording this for the second time.
Yep.
It was pretty frightening. We were just getting in on it and talking about, we kind of jinxed ourselves. I was talking about how I took the day off and I was really adult for doing it. We're having a great podcast and just everything shut off around us. Yeah. So I was going to say, hopefully you're hearing this, but if not, then the power went out again and you're not hearing it anyways. So, but yeah, I told you I didn't know if I could go over the top intro, so I thought I'd take it one step farther, you know?
You did. You succeeded.
So we were talking about something before the podcast started. And I realized I should have started the original episode with that. And it's the biggest news in gaming right now that Taylor Swift is releasing her 8th album. And it comes out at midnight tonight. So I just thought everybody should know that. Cody, what have you been up to?
I don't think any 7-year-old girls listen to this podcast, man. So I don't think anybody needs to be updated on that. And also, I'm sure you don't have to tell people about this. I'm sure they'll all be on the radio a million times.
Let's hope.
And we'll all hear them. Even if we don't want to. What I've been up to, it's kind of weird to talk about again. Basically, my number one hobby is collecting media, and my favorite part of collecting media is video games. And right now with coronavirus, they're going through the roof, and the last couple of days I've been, what is it called? I used it last podcast. Fear buying, basically really afraid, just oh God, I gotta buy them up.
Yeah, didn't you have a terrible abbreviation for that?
FOMO? Fear of missing out?
No, wasn't it Phobo is what you said?
No, FOMO.
I know that one. I thought you said another one. I was like, is this a thing?
Maybe. I don't remember. I sort of remember having this conversation.
Yeah.
Last episode. So yeah, but I only purchased one thing because it's outbid on my number one objective, my ace in the hole, is Steel Battalion. It's been there for a while. And was it a year and a half ago we went to PAX?
Probably, yeah.
I saw it there, and the guy only wanted $200 on the last day of the show. Complete. Should have grabbed it. I didn't. And yesterday I lost a bid on Goodwill auction by $1. Went for $4.16. Super minty. One day I'll get it, but I need to chill out and Maynard Dave Ramsey, all the stuff I've learned from that beautiful man. If you have trouble with finances or you want to learn shit, Dave Ramsey, I recommend that.
Every time you say that, picture Gordon Ramsay and get really. I know you're not talking about him, but why would you trust this guy with finances or video games or anything you're talking about?
So it's he's got a saying. It's live and give like no one else. So later you can live and give like no one else.
That sounds very sexual.
But, yeah, so that probably means when I'm 40, I can buy Steel Battalion for the $5,000 that they're asking for and enjoy it. But I need to chill out. And I did end up buying one thing, which was another one of my sought-after things. Early 2000s, they had a collab, Mountain Dew and Xbox. You said you remember the promo?
Yeah.
I don't remember the promo, but
right.
My two favorite things together. And they only made a certain amount, and like I said, the guy posted one bare bones, had cracks. You remember those little fins on the side of the original Xbox?
Oh yeah,
two of the top things are broken. I don't give a shit about that. These collectors really do. So that's why his ended up going for $200. I picked it up for $200. Yeah. I just need to chill out. I have this it messes with my OCD. I've had OCD since I was a little kid, but it was I have to turn lights off 3 or 4 times before I can leave a room. And now as I'm an adult, it's turned into I obsessively think about dumb shit. And video games is one of them right now because of fucking Corona. And I don't know what to do. But yeah, I gotta stop buying stuff. So this Mountain Dew Xbox is hopefully it for a while. And you asked me how real is that. I mean, you can tell. You can go back and listen to episodes. It's not real.
That's why I thought I'd call it out now and see where we are in a week or two.
if I see things like a thrift store, like I have family members that look out for me. They'll call me and say, "Hey, this is at a thrift store. Should I pick it up?" I will say yes to those people. If I'm at a thrift store, I will.
If it's a Minion.
Oh yeah, if it's a Minion. Oh, that reminds me. I took a great picture of a Minion for you yesterday. It's funny you mentioned it because it actually looks like Taylor Swift.
That's not possible.
So it's your two favorite things together, bud. It was like a promo that they had for some dumbass Minions back to school thing. Oh God, it's so ugly.
That definitely can't be Taylor Swift.
Thought you would like that.
How's it look like Taylor Swift? They have blonde hair.
Yeah.
And also her blonde hair looks like it's like a 80s rock star.
Like a Farrah Fawcett Minion.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I don't know if you can see it. Kind of looks like a South Park character too.
Yeah, definitely.
But it definitely made me think of you and thinking like, God, I gotta steal this. He needs this in his living room next to Taylor Swift. Also, I just like how cocky he is, and then how disturbed the other one is by. God, you know how many middle-aged moms drove by like, oh my God, and bought everything that they were promoting. Oh God,
Can't
I love the Mins. Yeah, so I definitely got to work on it, man. It's and I justify it because like, well, I don't have a car payment, I don't have credit cards, just a little bit in student loans, and it's like, Cody, you need to grow the fuck up, dude. So yesterday I was talking to like, Cody, grow the fuck up, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So,
kind of crazy.
Yeah, I almost planned, like I told you before power went out, I almost planned a trip to New Jersey, like an 8-hour drive, and then we're gonna have like a little mini vacation in Manhattan, so I could pick up one there. The guy had for like $300.
Yeah, that's how you know in Manhattan's secondary that things are a little off balance. That Steel Battalion's the number one thing, and then you can go Manhattan as a side thing.
I was like, oh yeah, so we'll just stop by one of the coolest cities in the world, I guess, just as long as I get Steel Battalion, because the guy literally lives in the suburbs of New York. It's weird to think like you work in New York City, but then you live in New Jersey.
Yeah, that's how most people do that work in like actual downtown New York. They live in New Jersey.
Really?
Yeah.
I also thought about this guy was probably gonna be real douchey if I met him.
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably a super nice guy. But yeah, if you're out there and you won that auction by $1, you probably did me a favor. I shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. So I'm like, each week we're gonna see if Cody can help himself. I'm basically a child.
You hear that? Somebody talking?
What? Don't scare me like that.
You really don't hear that?
The fuck is that?
It's over there.
Dude, I thought someone was in your house. Bro, you scared the shit out of me. I thought somebody's inside the house. Why is that so clear?
Because they're in their laundry room right there, so there's like no insulation between and just right next to each other.
They could probably hear this.
Oh yeah,
we got
sure.
like a live audience.
That's why I said one of these times we're just gonna shoot through with all the dumb shit we say.
Oh my God, that scared me. I was looking for weapons. I was like, what can I, like this Master Chief, hit him in the head. I literally have pocket knives and pepper spray in my pocket, and the first thing I think about is a fucking toy. That's how unprepared I am.
So,
matter of fact, 2 pocket knives and pepper spray.
Dual wield.
I look at a plastic mask and a Master Chief. Master Chiefs, though, you can probably kick their ass easy.
Definitely. So, like I said, I really hope I'm not jinxing the power's about to shut out. But last time I tried to record this, I've been working, but not as much because I feel like it's just a second away from the power shutting off. It's literally the same conversation. It's the right word to shut off. But like you said, I'm an adult as well, so I requested off so we could took PTO so we could watch the Xbox Game Showcase, and that's why we're recording early. And just literally picturing the lights going out. It just feels so similar. Then we're going to do our normal loss tonight, so it's kind of backwards from how we do it. But besides that, like I said, I've been going to the pool quite a bit lately because we have one in our apartment. And it's super nice because you only get like an hour and a half time slot. And they only let, I think, a maximum of 12 people over there at a time. And there's...
You have to sign up?
you did, but they took that away. So now you just go. You can sign ahead if you like know that you want to go a week ahead. You can do it, but now they just have it to where you can go over there. If it's not filled up, then you can go in, and it's never been filled up. And that's the nice part. It's a maximum of 12, but I've never seen more than 6 people over there, including us. So there's like nobody there. We can't have any guests. Is the one downside. It has to be, which makes sense. I get it, but it kind of sucks because I'd love to be able to, when you guys are over and everything, everybody be able to go over.
Yeah, man. I hear this is if you want to risk your life, it's a good time to. There's another reason I was kind of excited to go to New Jersey. It'd be a good time to go to New York City.
Yeah.
I see everything. I'm sure a lot of things would close down, crazy rules, but probably a good time to experience that. And I hear Disney. Good time to go to Disney as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I would be bummed is if, like you said, this stuff is actually shut down. I wouldn't even care as much about things being weird or people not being around and the creepiness of all that, as long as I could do it. But I'd just be so bummed if I went somewhere that I've always wanted to go like that and just not be able to do all the things I want to do, like not be able to do the Nintendo store and Empire State Building and World Trade Center and all that kind of stuff. That would suck.
Yeah. The World Trade Center, bud's been gone for like 20 years, though.
Oh, I don't know.
That, right?
I don't know if you know this, but that's what the new building's called.
Oh, really? I was trying to make a dumb joke. Yeah. You're talking about, it's funny, I'd go to Manhattan, but it'd be for Steel Battalion on purpose.
Uh-huh.
We were supposed to go to Vegas this year. Everyone thought we were getting married, but my main purpose was I have a whole thing planned out for all the buffets there. But if we would have gone this time, they would have been closed. And
yeah.
I don't know what else to do there. It's like you can't. I'm sure the games are all weird too. All the stores are weird. But my main reason going was for some of the best buffets in the world are there. There's a guy on YouTube that reviews them.
Oh yeah.
I had a whole thing planned out. All these beautiful buffets.
They also had the Saul escape room there. Which, if I ever go back to Las Vegas,
whoa.
I feel like you almost have to be an idiot to do that because that's literally how Saul is. People aren't this dumb, and then they're like, "Oh my God, an escape room designed around trapping? I'm traveling to that." And it literally looks just like Saul. If you look at the pictures, it just looks like a torture chamber. And I'm like, "Yeah, sign me up."
That sounds awesome.
Yeah,
sounds really scary though.
Yeah.
Because you'd be an idiot up till the moment someone getting killed.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that blade! It's coming right for your head. Then their brains out. Like, oh shit, this is real. I remember one time I did this haunted trail. Me and my family, that was our big thing to do around Halloween, was go to all these haunted places, haunted trails. There was a really good one where it was a haunted hayride, but they planted people in your group.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And they would drag the people out of your group that you think was just normal people. They're wearing normal clothes and would like stab them and kill them in front of you. And you're like, what the? As like a 10-year-old, almost shit my pants because I was like, this is real. So that'd be really cool if I did something like that in that too. Because it's kind of awkward first they're talking to you like, oh, where are you guys from? Oh, that's cool. And they're getting killed.
Yeah. And then besides that, like I said, I went to a local beach here, Allen Creek Beach. And that was super nice too. It's not the nicest beach, but it's what we got here. And it's a super easy drive. And everybody's talking about how crazy these kind of places are and that they're just people on people. It's like the most unsafe place in the world. I don't know if people didn't go to the beach before this kind of stuff happened. The beaches have always been crazy, but I think it's pretty normal to be 6 feet away from people at the beach anyways. I don't know what the hell people are doing if you're that close to somebody in the first place. That's not even like a sanitary thing or anything. I feel like it's just common to not be that close to people.
Well, here too, outside is a little, well, I don't know, CDC and World Health Organization changes this every day.
Yeah.
But here outside's pretty safe.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, definitely changes every day, if not on the same day sometimes. But yeah, it seems like inside everywhere is more condensed. That's why I don't get why people are so afraid of going outside. I know the staying at home is talking about like an overall thing, but still people literally freak out about going on walks and stuff. And that there's nobody around and you're walking by yourself. That's like the safest thing you could do, and you're getting fresh air on top of it. So that was nice, but that's all I've been up to as well. Should we talk about the press conferences now, or should we do that when we talk about what we've been watching?
We can talk about them now.
Yeah.
We'll start with Nintendo.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay. Let me get my notes out here.
All right.
I figured Nintendo would be good first one to start with because it was like nothing.
Yeah, they called it a Nintendo Mini Direct, but so I knew it'd be gonna be smaller, but it It was ridiculously small.
Like 8 minutes.
Yeah. You want to start? Or you want me to start going over?
You can go ahead and start.
So what did they lead with? There was some. Oh, it was that Hyrule.
Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah, that thing seemed like a Devolver segment when they're like DLC Pack 1, DLC Pack 2.
You could buy them all together.
Yeah, I was like, how many times are you gonna say DLC and what the fuck is this? And it just kept going. It didn't look that bad if you're that into that kind of thing. I was like, this looks like I probably won't play it, but it looked like it could be fun. But just the way they presented it and all these DLCs was so over the top.
Yeah, I would probably try it. Just the rhythm aspect of
Yeah.
Those games can get pretty samey.
And then I think there's probably like 5 games in this whole thing, if that.
Yeah. Well, I think what stuck out with me was I think the Cadence of Hyrule's already been out and they announced
That's what I
DLC,
thought.
right?
Yeah.
But it looks like it never got a physical release.
Oh, okay.
But the Game of the Year edition that they kind of showed at the end, it looked
Mhm.
like it was in a Switch case.
Oh, okay.
So that might be physical, which is right up my alley.
Yeah.
I prefer physical.
So you can buy
Yeah.
more stuff.
Yeah, I'm recovering right now. I'm shaking thinking about it. It's like an impending, like doomish feeling, because I'm like obsessively like checking price charting. So it's something serious, man. I gotta get under control.
And the next thing I have, I don't know if I missed anything, and you can chime in anytime, but was Rogue Company, which I don't know if I just been out of the loop. I've never heard of this game. They made it seem like it's like a known thing.
Yeah, didn't they announce it at the last?
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I was gonna say they didn't present it like it was a exclusive or worldwide world premiere thing or anything like that.
'Cause I think the initial announcement of it, I think they were like, it is playable now, or something like that.
I actually thought it looked kind of fun. It was about as generic as you can get. It's a third-person shooter, like arena-based kind of thing. But it has crossplay. The weird thing that I saw that they advertised that it had motion control, which I know the Switch controllers have motion in it, but I feel like no game really uses it actual motion aiming.
Splatoon?
Yeah, I guess that does. But I feel like even that is kind of like aiming your direction, not like a first-person shooter where it's like your crosshair.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'd play it like that, and I'm sure there's an option for both. But I thought it looked fun. Just didn't really, like I said, I feel like we've seen 1,000 games like that, but it looked like it'd be fun to play.
Yeah.
Then the only other thing I remember, this might even be it, was the WWE 2K Battlegrounds.
You're missing something.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, is this the really Japanese game at the end?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
super famous series.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's really big, especially in Japan. I think it's been out since the 80s.
What was that? We can go back to WWE.
Shin, I always mess his name up, but a lot of you weebs out there love these games. My issue with those games, it's kind of like Final Fantasy, where there's like a bunch of them. And I don't know. But so it looks like all of kind of the modern ones now officially be on Switch, and then they announced the newest one.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. I remember now you say it.
Megami?
Oh, that might be. I've heard that.
Yeah, I can't keep up with it. I mean, it looks kind of cool. I looked at it, but all of those games are just a lot of what we talked about today. With the, I wonder if the Japanese talk about our Western games like that, like guns, open world guns. Because all of their games seem the same. It's like high school Japanese kids. It's just like the same music, the same enemies, the same like narrator. Just like, the world is over. It's up to these two 16-year-olds. And they're like wearing school outfits. And they're like, money. And then it's just the terrible music. And then I see all you weebs on Twitter just like, oh, wasn't that amazing? Yeah, it was amazing the last month when I watched the same thing. And then the month before when I watched the same thing. That was really cool when they did the same thing 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's why I didn't remember that game, because I had the same feeling you did.
Yeah.
WWE 2K Playgrounds, I remember us talking about, I think I brought it up when it was first announced that they were not making their normal WWE game. And I said this actually, for me, was, I know a lot of people are bummed that they weren't making their normal game, but I thought this was more exciting than anything I've heard in like the last decade. But it's not quite what I imagined. I pictured like a modern day version of old school wrestling games, and I do think this looks like could be fun, but looks a little too over the top and silly. I don't know. What did you think of it?
Yeah, It kind of reminds me of that early 2000s generation where they put wrestlers on every type of game.
Yeah.
It looks super mobile. Like,
Yeah.
they had New Day there with oh gosh, I forgot her name. She's a new women's champion, the Japanese lady. I forget her name, and then I forget the other guy's name. This is how much I care about new wrestling.
Yeah, I was gonna say I knew they were wrestlers, but I didn't know any of them. I was just like,
Well, the two guys in the back, New Day, those are the guys that are friends with Mega Ran.
oh, okay.
Remember he's like, my
Yeah.
friend was like, I'm into unicorns and wrestling. Coffee. I like them guys. I like the new women's champion. She's pretty good. I think she's from she's definitely from Japan. I forget her name, but she just won the belt. She won it because the current champion got pregnant, so they just gave it to her.
Huh.
Because I guess beating a pregnant woman in the ring probably is not the greatest thing you want to put on television.
Yeah.
I forget the guy's name, but that was terrible acting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, when you punched him, that was crazy. Like, guys, you guys are supposedly $1 billion organization, and we're just somehow the acting's just even shittier than.
Yeah.
They did not plan that too well. Looks okay, just looks a little over the top, like you said. I'm sure every wrestler and every skin is going to cost money.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed, they didn't use any of the. They had what was it? Edge, Stone Cold. I forget who the wrestlers were fighting.
Yeah, I don't remember.
They didn't have their names. It just said Superstar 1, Superstar 2,
really?
3, and 4. But I'm sure the skins are going to cost
Yeah.
money. Every little thing's going to be a microtransaction. I don't know. There's a really good wrestling game that was similar style, minus the over top. I just blanking on the name. So I was hoping for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't get that. We got Mobile, the game.
Yeah, they announced it for, I don't know if there's a release date already announced, but they said it would come out September 16th. I don't know if I'll end up playing it. Like I said, it's not exactly what I wanted, but still, it's definitely the most interested I've been in a wrestling game in probably a decade, at least. And then I think that was it for that. Like I said, I know they presented it as a Nintendo Mini Direct, and they also gave almost no lead up to it, so I knew it was going to be small, but even with those expectations, I thought it was still very underwhelming. And it felt like the most Nintendo thing in the world. I've said last podcast, I think, how E3 feels so empty without them, which is weird. And then it's like they feed into how ridiculous they are. They're like, no, we're here. And then give you a Nintendo Mini Direct with the things you care the least about. When they have these massive franchises, like the biggest franchises in gaming, and they're just sitting there.
WWE All-Stars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so different this year, and I don't like it. Everything's so spread out.
Yeah. Guess if you want, we could move on to, it's not really a press conference, but Jeff Keighley's stream about the PS5 controller, the DualSense.
Yeah.
You want to start with your thoughts on it?
I kind of blacked out, kind of stopped paying attention once the interview happened. I don't know why, I just have I can't focus on that stuff. There's two guys talking, so I don't know how the hell you guys are watching this right now. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was. Did you see him comparing it to the other ones?
Yeah, that's part of what I was going to say with my thoughts about it. I'll let you go first, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger, which I think it needed to be.
Yeah.
He also said it's programmable, like he's talking about all the different things you could program. But by who? By the people making games?
I think that's what he meant, yeah.
Okay, because I was like, man, I don't want to have to sit there and, like, I have this mouse that has 4,000 buttons on it. People are like, oh, you can program your mana here. Like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what any of this means. And I never use them. So I figured it'd be one of those features that would just get lost and I would never use. But I hope it's that they can program it to feel a certain way during certain parts of the game. the feedback, like he's talking about, you pull back a bow and you could feel like the tension.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that was cool, but the speaker, I know we talked about that before. Like, why do we have to have a speaker in it? It just, the audio, even like listening to the audio sounds horrendous through that thing. He's like, oh, you can hear the wind through it, but I didn't like it. I didn't like how it sounded. It seemed really gimmicky. And the PS4 did that too. Remember?
Yeah, it still has it.
Yeah, so I don't get why that's such a big deal. One of the things that does concern me though, how quick will these gimmicks be forgotten? Because the developers like, we had to get this out. We don't have time to sit there and program for your controller, and will be an afterthought. And what's the battery life with these features? Because those batteries will die out. That's the nice thing about Xbox using actual batteries, is that the battery life is insane compared to the PS4 controller with the new set of batteries. But yeah, I think that's all I have so far about it.
I have some similar thoughts, and some actually very different than yours. I actually also liked how it was bigger. And when you said that, I was like, oh, you're going to be knocking it, because I'm complete opposite. Because I don't know if you've seen, it's a meme right now about how it's like the Duke controller, the original Xbox controller. I'm like, first off, you guys haven't played that controller, you think this thing's fucking similar to that.
Yeah.
And I think the PS4 controller is actually a really good controller. I think it's the best PlayStation controller has ever been. But I've always thought since the Xbox S controller, the one after the Duke, that they've had a better controller than Sony. And I said when this thing was first announced, it looked more like an Xbox controller than a Sony controller without losing like the look of a Sony controller. So I think that's actually, I'm going to prefer that more. Obviously, the biggest thing, like I said, it's hard to judge a controller too much till you play it. That's the biggest thing. When you actually feel it and you feel all these things and know how it is in your hands, that's the easiest. So I could feel completely different about some of these things, but this is all we can go off of since we haven't played with it. The haptic feedback that you're talking about, I think is a really cool idea. I know Xbox kind of does with their triggers, but to a lot lesser degree. And yeah, he was showing you off, showing the new Astrobot game, and talking about how you could feel like if you're in the sand, or if you're walking through the snow or the fire, and be able to tell a difference. And that makes sense. I feel like it's also, the Switch has the HD rumble, and if you ever play games like 1-2 Switch or something, you can actually tell like when you're moving it, like what you'd be moving like physically, and feel the difference. So I get exactly how that could feel, and I feel like that could really enhance a game like Uncharted or something where you're walking through the sand. I feel like there's so many games you could apply that to where it makes sense, or shooting, or a bow, or plenty of things that would make sense for it. And the speaker, people complain about that a lot. I actually do like the speaker. I know I'm probably in the minority. I do think it should be an option you can shut off for people that have people around them. I do think that is kind of silly that it's just a thing that is already on there. I don't know if you're talking about me. I know I did have a huge problem with them putting a mic on it, if that's what you're thinking of, which I still do. Like I said, unless they have some crazy technology that we don't know about that really is going to block out all the button pressing and all the background noise and everything. But I just don't see how, if they have that kind of technology, I think there would be something out there about it, and they'd be hyping it up big time, because that's technology that obviously is not invented yet with what we have.
Well, I think too, I usually game with a headset on, so I wouldn't even hear shit in that speaker.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
I don't know if I want to either. Like, oh, I'm in a fan and my really shitty speaker. It just sounds like I have a big thing on audio. Like when someone's trying to show me a new song, I'm like, bro, we can't listen to this on your cell phone. I know I've talked to you about that before. Like there's no bass. It just sounds real, just shitty.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that to be the game audio. Like, if they just replace that as a game audio, I'd hate that. The reason it doesn't bother me and why I think it works, I feel like it actually can, again, kind of be more immersive if it's something they use, like if somebody's calling you in a game or small things like that. I feel like it works really well because the audio quality of those kind of things are not high anyway, so that's when it doesn't bother me. If a game try to actually just use it as like their shooting noise or something, I think I'd be like, no. But I feel like the games that do it right use it in a minimal way, in a way that makes sense and brings you more into the game. And
like picking up recordings.
Yeah. Like BioShock, that'd be so cool if you could do it that way. And I don't know how this speaker's any better, but I didn't have an issue with this PS4 speaker when it was doing that. So if there's a better one, I'm all for that. The mic, like I said, I see as a big potential problem. I do like how they make it real obvious. I don't know if you saw there's a button on top of the mic to mute it. So I like that as a real obvious thing that you can do instead of like going, I pictured like going into the settings and going to the cross media bar and finding it to turn it off. So I do like that it can easily be shut off, but I still feel like you have the issue of most people that would be polite enough to shut that off and do that are probably not the kind of people that leave it sitting there and be annoying. So I still don't know if that fixes your problem. In theory, it should, because that's why they have it there, for people to be normal humans to each other. But the people that don't pay attention to that kind of stuff are the kind of people that even put a giant button there are not going to care at all.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people in Warzone that just why are you blasting music and screaming? And it's ridiculous. Like, you're not embarrassed by that at all. Like, damn, I'm really fucking with these people.
No, like I said, he was showing off Astrobot, and I remember at the PlayStation reveal, I thought it was weird they showed that and the way they showed it. But I don't know if he said it when he was showing off the controller, but I know he said it in the interview. And this is actually somewhere I'm opposite of you. I love the interviews. I wish he would have showed more of the controller. He said it lasts too long. I think the interview lasted a long time. The controller part was only like 5 minutes. I was like, oh man, that's it. But since I do like interviews, I thought they did give a lot more detail and went into the controller, even though you weren't physically seeing it. And this part I don't remember if he said while he was showing the controller, but when he was talking to Eric Layden from Sony and during the interview, he said Astrobot will ship with every PS5.
I heard
okay.
that.
And I thought that was really smart, and I feel like it's kind of a common thing now that we don't think of systems releasing with games, and it kind of makes sense in a way because you can just instantly download stuff. But I do remember feeling weird when games stopped doing that. I was like, wait, I don't get something with it to like test this out. I gotta go buy something. So I feel like it's cool that they are packing in something like that and doesn't just seem like a throwaway thing. Like the last Astrobot reviewed really well, and I feel like they said, it's a really good way to show off what the potential the controller can do, but also doesn't seem just like a throwaway game. It also seems like a full, like, standalone fun game that also shows off the controller.
I will be excited for when one of those comes out that's not white.
Yeah.
Thing's going to get so nasty.
Yeah, definitely.
You're going to see so many used consoles where it's just going to look just poopy with that white on there.
Like I said, I do like the look of it, and I like that they did go so different, but I want to see alternate ones. And I say the white one would get dirty, but the 360 ones I never got too dirty, actually. And I'm actually staring at my Xbox One controller that's like bright white, and I don't have anything on it. It's on the floor there, and so maybe it wouldn't be an issue. Maybe it's just we were kids, so we were so much more disgusting and passing off controllers to everybody and eating all the time. And I don't know, maybe it wouldn't be an issue anymore.
There was this kid we was hanging out with all the time. I was roommates with him for a little bit. He did this thing where he would itch his balls and then play video games and then try to pass the controllers off on us. But we don't want to be rude. So oh no, man, we're good. We don't want to play the new Forza. Bro, it just came out. You guys don't want to try it? Just race it one time. No, we're good, man. We're good because the controllers reeked of it.
Ugh.
That smell. And it became a meme in our friend group.
Yeah.
It's like we bring our own controllers. We're like, no, we're good, dude.
The worst thing I thought was always, I know it's like a joke and an internet meme, but it is true that Jesus Christ, the Doritos or Cheeto dust, those kind of people are the worst because that just like sinks into your controller.
Yeah.
And we would all eat and play, and I didn't mind that. How I am with my controllers. I don't care if people are doing stuff, but that kind of stuff literally just sticks to your controller, and so that's all stuff that always bothered me.
Some ball sweat mixed in there too. That's what he would do, dude. He would just chill like full blown, and it's just like here you go, and you just smell it, bro. We all know what ball sweat smells. That's ball sweat all over your controllers right now.
Even though I feel like I am more optimistic about some of these things and think there's actually cool potential, you kind of brought up the point that my main concern of this whole thing was, oh man, you could do so many cool things with this, is exactly what you said, that they obviously Astrobot is designed with that in mind. And I think games like the next Uncharted, if there's one, or The Last of Us or whatever, will use it to their potential. But then any game that's third party or not designed for PlayStation, I think they won't have it in there, or if they do, it'll be an afterthought and not designed that way.
Yeah.
So I feel like all this cool technology and potential is probably going to be useless. And even first-party Sony games, usually the later they go, the more even the first parties abandon it because they're like, oh, I want to test out this cool things, and then it kind of declines as the generation goes on. Yeah. So obviously time will tell. Maybe this will be different, but I just don't see, if you're making a game for every system, why you're going to take the time to do something special with that controller. I just don't see it happening.
No.
I hope I'm wrong. So like I said, I feel like, there's issues I have with it and things I think go real wrong. I think there is a lot of potential and could bring you more into a game, but I just don't know if that's going to happen.
One of the things I want to make in my game room, this, in my mind game room, shit that's never going to happen, is the evolution of the controllers. Like have television, whatever, all the way through. And it's just funny to look at them and to think about them. That'd be a lot of fun controllers, though.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm sure the Video Game Museum in Texas has something like that. Because how much has changed.
Oh, and definitely.
It could make or break a console. Because I see that's why, besides the fact that, Japan was very serious about, companies being from their own country, supporting companies from their own country, was the fact that Japanese are a little smaller frame than Americans, and then putting a Duke in their hands.
Oh, yeah.
Versus, like, our hands. It's like a whole different thing. So that can make or break a console.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, everyone just loves Xbox controllers now.
Yeah, I think it's, like you said, why Xbox so fast made a completely different controller, which seems a little more common now with, like, Elite controllers and stuff, but back then there wasn't, that, like, was their controller. You didn't, like, change your controller into something different like they did. Like, even the button layout and everything was different. That just doesn't happen.
I'm in the weird camp, too, now as an adult. I like the Duke. Like, I have the Xbox One version.
Oh, that's terrible. It's even the, like, off-center buttons, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. And then, see, initially, too, they wanted to have a screen. I'm sure you knew that.
Yeah, the Xbox symbol.
Yeah, and the Hyperkin made one with a screen.
Yeah. I don't know if I told you the first time I played an Xbox, I was like, what is this thing? Like, try to do something with it. So,
because it kind of looks like one.
Yeah.
Right?
And then it's weird that it didn't become a screen, but I thought maybe it was more. I think I thought it was a button. I think I tried to press it, which is weird because that's what it evolved into with the 360. It became a button.
Yeah.
I was like, I just ahead of my time. Then anything else you want to talk about the controller?
No, I think I covered it.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like even though I feel these ways until I actually play it, that's when you actually notice the difference. We're still good.
Yeah, we're still good. I just gotta get some notifications out of the way.
So I guess we can move on to the big one, Xbox Game Showcase.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I tried putting in order. If you tell me I missed anything with Cam, we can just go in line, and we don't want to talk a lot about certain things. We don't have to. We can start with the pre-show because we talked last week about how they said it's kind of like a mini show going into the show.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they did hype up a little too much, but I don't feel like it was completely marketing. I feel like they did have a fair amount of announcements, and I don't know if you could really do much more than that on a pre-show when majority of people watching probably aren't going to be watching the pre-show, so I don't think you want to put anything too major in there. They started with something I don't care about, but I know is a big deal, and you mentioned it, Dragon Quest 11, the first time Dragon Quest has been on Xbox, coming December 4th.
Yes, sir.
You have anything to add? Because you seem more interested in me.
Oh, just because I'm playing through the first one.
Yeah.
I do like the grindy aspects of it, but I think that's the one Colin said was he's a diehard of that series and said was even painful to get through because it's so long because no one respects your time. So that's one of the things that scares me away from it that I know I probably won't play it. First, I thought it was Dragon Quest Warriors, which seemed like I like Hyrule Warriors and I love Dynasty Warriors. So I was like, oh, that'd be perfect to bring on Xbox. But nope, we got the scary one, as I refer to it. Yeah.
And then the next game was Exomecha, which is a first-person shooter. It I feel like looks-wise looks like Crisis, and then we were talking when we were watching, and our friend Derek throws over. I feel like it has a lot of aspects of different games like Halo, Apex, Titanfall.
Transformers.
Yeah, it's all kind of a mixture, which all those things I either like or love, so I'm all about this game.
Yeah, like I wonder if it'll be like those Transformers things. I wonder if you can control them or if it's like a jungling thing, like NPCs that you go and fight. It looks fun.
Yeah.
Different.
And it said it was free to play. I don't remember the. I know it said 2021. I don't know if they talked if it was cross-play or what it was coming to or not. I didn't get a lot of those details in this notes, unfortunately, this time. I tried to just get the base games that we could talk about. The one I did not get in. Oh wait, no, I did get it here. It was very similar to that name. That's why I thought I didn't have it. Echo Generation, which is a game that we talked about with a Double Fine game. Remember that one?
I remember saying that. Yes, I do remember that one.
Yeah. Kind of looked like maybe like a third-person, well, not old-school platformer, maybe like 64-day platformer. Couldn't really tell much what was going on, but those are my kind of games usually. So
a lot of those coming out too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd love if that became a comeback. I don't like most things. I don't think it needs to be a comeback. That's our only kind of game, but I love if that was mixed in with first-person shooters and open world, so more variety of things again.
Yeah.
And then next was Hello Neighbor 2 coming in 2021. I've only played the first one for a little bit, so this didn't mean much to me, but I know it is a big deal to a lot of people.
Yeah. Looks like you're playing as the bad guy now.
Yeah.
Jesus. And people are stealing stuff from you. Like your voice, and then you cracks. They look like crows, though.
Yeah.
They look kind of creepy. But the fact that you're playing as him and kind of removed that like scary aspect of it. And that was the most interesting part, I thought, of Hello Neighbor.
Yeah, unless they go the opposite way and get real dark with it, where he's like Jigsaw, and you're playing as him setting this up. Then the next game was, and the last game of the pre-show was, it was all about you. It was called
It was all about me?
Yeah, you loved it. Remember what was it? Balan Wonderland, the really Japanese game at the end that they hyped up, and you said there was a bunch of costumes in it. Remember?
Oh God! Yeah, what the hell was that? They didn't tell anything about it.
No, they hyped it up like crazy though, so it must be some famous studio. I didn't. As far as the art style and how you present it, it looked like we talked about all these games where there's just so many of them. But some of the gameplay, again, kind of looked like old school platformer to me, so that part actually interests me, but everything else about it looked a little too over the top to me.
Yeah, I don't. It looked like it'd be right at home on the Switch.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the characters actually looked straight out of Mario Odyssey.
I wanted to play the fucking trailer in here because it reminded me of something. Let me see if I can get that pulled up. What's it called again?
I'll spell it for you.
Of course it has one of those names.
I just don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's not that crazy. Balan, and then I think it's Wonderland if I typed it right.
Because it was very nostalgic for me. Wait, spell the first word again.
Balan, unless I typed that wrong, but I had it right.
Okay, let's go to videos. Yes, this is it. Okay, I'm gonna play the intro. Tell me what it sounds like to you. Think about when we were kids. Okay. Oh, it's that's not a video. Oh, God, why is every time you YouTube something, it's got to be reactions? Okay, today, guys, we have absolutely no original content, so I'm just gonna sit here and react to someone else's content. Sorry if you do reaction videos.
Maybe we should start doing them.
Wow, that was really cool. What? Let's go here. Of course, it's the number one article right now is from Nintendo Soup, because this is definitely one of their games. They're probably pissed. Why isn't this over here? Here we go. It's loading up.
Balan Wonderworld.
Balan.
A
That's close.
And mysterious land that you visit when you come to a turning point in life.
This is so dumb. Did that sound like anything to you?
No. Oh, wait. Unless Pokemon?
No. It reminds me of fucking Disney VHS trailers for
Oh, yeah. No,
coming soon to DVD and video.
I thought you were talking about the music. I was picturing maybe Pokemon. I also had the last name wrong. Battleland Wonder World, not Wonderland. So that's probably why I couldn't find it.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Oh, my God. Of course, it's Here, I found it. Oh, this is an ad. This is not it.
No matter what challenges life throws at you.
Shut up. Oh, we're dial up. This is some great podcasting, Cody.
Yeah, talking about reactions being too much. Oh, Jesus.
From the dream makers at Disney.
Isn't this the same thing?
An exciting new theme park is coming.
So that's the only thing that got me was coming soon to VHS. It sounds almost verbatim.
Yeah, I could definitely hear it.
I didn't say anything initially because I was like, this is going to be really hard to explain. I'm going to have to pull up YouTube videos, and it's going to be awkward, and people are just going to be sitting there staring at me. Kind of what happened here, but I was like, I got to get my point across.
So that was it for the pre-show, besides all the greatness of interviewing people and the cringiness that came from that. So the Xbox Game Showcase opened up with Halo Infinite. You want to talk about your thoughts first? Because I feel like we're going to be a little different, and you know I'm the Halo guy. Well, I love Halo, not that I'm the Halo expert. So
I liked it. I wish I'd have beat Halo Wars before this, because it was full of Halo Wars spoilers. I'm right at the beginning too, so now I know what happens, and I'm pretty sure I know what happens because there was like a little clip there where it's showing like deceased. So, which would have been cool to see happen in the campaign. I liked it. I heard there was rumors that it was open world. Do you remember hearing those?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of is. It kind of isn't. But it's like Derek said, our friend that was watching with us, it was like Halo 1. Whereas it's open world. I hate to say that, but it's not so like you're stuck on one ship and you're going this one way. From what we saw, he was kind of in a big portion of the map. And it's almost like in Halo Wars where you have secondary objectives that could almost give you a bonus. Like they were showing some different like objectives for him to do. They didn't say that, but I could picture that's what's happening. Like, hey, if you take out these AA guns, we could drop supplies off or something like that. Or you get a bonus or skulls or something. It looks cool. The weapons look amazing. It was kind of sweet seeing the Stranded?
The Banished.
Banished.
Yeah.
I'm never going to remember that. Seeing their hodgepodge of weapons. It'd be sweet, just like I told you, to see them pick up human equipment. Start using that as well. Because it seems like in Halo Wars, they mainly use Covenant and they scrap Forerunner stuff. It makes me want to play Halo Wars more. I'm like, how do we get to this point? What does it mean UNSC is defeated?
Yeah.
What the fuck did we... Like, that seems like a little game, but it's affected the whole story. It's like, oh god, what the hell happened? So, yeah, it looks great, man. I'm not disappointed, and I would have liked to seen some more multiplayer stuff.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Okay, I thought you'd be, I think you might actually be down on it. I don't know if you heard Derek, he said multiple times that he's really underwhelmed.
Yeah.
And, I thought maybe you'd fall in that boat. So I fucking loved it. I had a few, not even issues, worries, but overall I loved it.
Oh, sorry, can we talk about something?
Yeah, go for it.
I probably should say this for Halo Wars, but the main bad guy, I like how he's just likes fucking with him.
Oh yeah, Atriox.
Yeah, he likes toying with him.
Yeah, it's
making
great.
him suffer a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So seeing him, he does that with Red Team in Halo Wars, and he's also doing that again with Master Chief, just playing mind games with him. And there was more of that. So sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. I definitely do like visually how it feels like they're going to Halo Combat Evolved, but in obviously modern visuals and graphics, so it looks fucking beautiful.
Even the armor.
Yeah, the armor looks so good, and I hope that they didn't just abandon everything in 4 and 5, because like I said, I feel like there is a lot of good there, and I hope that they don't just listen to all the criticism to let them design the game. Especially, we didn't see in the trailer any Prometheans or any other world, so if that's gone, I feel like it should definitely at least be explained, and not just be like, well, people didn't like it, so we designed the new Halo Combat Evolved, because as much as I love the gameplay and multiplayer and everything, the story has always been the thing that drug me in the most. So if they just abandon that because people didn't like it and try to create something that people would like again, that would really bum me out. It was only one mission and only an 8-minute demo, so obviously that's all we got to go off of, so all this could still be here, and they might want to show the things that are different to catch people's attention instead of showing the same things again.
Did you think that was Cortana when they're building the armor?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
Yeah. So, because I talked about before they announced it, that I feel there are some valid criticisms of Halo 4 and 5, and I think it would be cool to bring back the Brutes and some of the Covenant through the Banished, and but I didn't think they should just get rid of them, because I thought one of the coolest things of Halo was how everything interacted together, like the Covenant fighting the Flood and both of them fighting the humans. And I feel like that's a perfect excuse to have the Banished, but also have the Prometheans there. And I feel like all that combined together would be so cool. But it so far at least seems like they are kind of abandoning that. Like I said, it's an 8-man demo, so it could be complete opposite of that, but that's all we had to go off of. And yeah, the weapons look super cool and amazing. The grappling hook looks fucking awesome.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, looks so awesome. It'd probably be annoying in multiplayer, but not in an annoying way that, like, the bad game design, just like, oh shit, he got me with it, but so cool when you get it done, which is, obviously, perfect design for games. It shouldn't frustrate you, it should make you mad, like, oh, they got me, and then you gotta get back to them. I do want to see multiplayer. I figured we wouldn't, and I thought it'd be amazing to do a beta, but I didn't expect that. Which we gotta go over our notes, what we got and didn't get.
None of my predictions, except for one.
Yeah. But the things that I'm more worried about, not really have a problem with, like I said, the Prometheans and how they handle that and the story. But also the open world stuff, when they started talking about that, or somebody said that they heard it'd be Skyrim cross Halo, and that sounds fucking real dumb. Started scaring me because, yeah, I'm okay if it's more, I feel like kind of what you're describing. You said you want me to say open world. I feel like sandbox is the right way to describe it. I feel like it's what Halo 3 was, a perfect mix. It wasn't open world, and it was linear, but it wasn't like corridor, where there's just like you only go down this way. It was still pretty obvious that you're going this way, but there's all these different ways to take it, which I feel like is the best design. And I hope that's what it is, but I'm worried that it is more of an open world, especially the wording they were using. He said that you'll have the entire ring to explore. And then they started using that map. I was like, is this really like just an entire world and it's not like this mission's over? Because that would really bum me out. I would be okay if they do make it somewhat more modern and have more content and all this kind of stuff the games are doing now. But I don't feel like every game needs to just continue to be more massive and open world. Like I said, I do think you could use some aspects of that, because, yeah, maybe a straight 7-hour campaign isn't going to be enough for this massive game that people have been waiting more than half a decade for. But I really hope they don't go too far with it.
I really hope there's not a hub world, too.
Yeah.
Halo 5 had a little bit in there, and it felt so unnatural.
Where do you think they did in Halo 5?
The Arbiter's main camp.
Oh, yeah.
It was barely one, but
Yeah,
it felt like they tried. They're like, we're going to do hub world, and then they're like, whoa, this is bad.
Yeah.
I didn't like that, so I hope they stay away from that, and I agree with you. It better be multiple planets at least, or ships sometimes. And
Yeah, especially, I love the, like I said, the visuals of seeing, like, modern day Combat Evolved, even though it's obviously not a remake, but just seeing what that would look like. But
you know what I didn't think about?
What's that?
What the fuck's the Arbiter doing right now? His new, I hate to say new Covenant, because they're not the Covenant, but his group.
I don't know.
Oh, it's going to be sick if he shows up halfway through.
But as much as I like seeing that, I do think a lot of these different locations they had in 4 and 5 that look nothing like Halo were cool and a nice change of pace. And like I said, I feel like it's just the same thing everybody does with games. Everybody made fun of Halo for always looking the same and always having this bright colors and everything. And then it went dark, and everybody's like, oh my god, it's so amazing that it doesn't look like Halo anymore. It's dark and it's different. You're seeing different locations. And they go back to what it looked like, and everybody's like, oh my god, they're so smart. Instead of, like I said, even myself, I'm like, that looks fucking cool, but it'd be cool to see that and then go to like this purple world and then go like this dark planet. And I feel like you need variety. Is much better than just having the same thing.
Yeah, you're right.
But this is all judging off an 8-minute demo and like a 1-minute interview afterwards. So that's all we have to go off of. But I can't wait to see more. And like I said, overall, I am super fucking excited. I'm not down on it. I just have a couple concerns, and I feel like it makes sense since it's my favorite franchise of all time. That I have concerns about it, but not really like, oh, that was really lackluster.
Yeah, and I think, man, there's so many different factions and stuff now in Halo. That's great. I love it. So I'm just sorry if I keep interrupting. I just get so excited about dumb shit like, what the fuck is the Arbiter doing? Like, did he lose the war too? Maybe Halo Wars will answer some of that, but yeah, what are the Prometheans doing? I know Prometheans mainly stay on Forerunner facilities, so maybe they could say like, oh, we're not on a Forerunner facility. Yeah. I'm trying to remember now. What happened to Cortana in 5? I just beat it, and I still can't remember. Well, spoilers alerts if you guys are.
It's been a bit since I played it.
What the hell happened to her? I know she was doing all that weird shit.
Yeah, as I said, that's the basis of why I remember, but I couldn't.
What's I'm gonna Google that because now it's gonna bother me.
Okay. Yeah, I can't wait to see more Halo. They said that you'd see multiplayer soon. I don't know how they're going to do that because I don't think it will be a beta as much as I love that. I don't know if they're just going to have people like Ninja or something stream it to market it. I could see something like that, but that'd be a bummer to present it that way. I think multiplayer is where they could be the most different and open with things, but like I said, I do hope that they go back to their formula of map control and everything.
Oh, they didn't defeat her, remember?
Yeah, she's still going rampant at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are they going to incorporate that? Because that's what I was thinking. Because don't they end on a cliffhanger?
Yeah.
And because they're saying, what's the name of that ship?
You're talking about the Infinity.
Is it Infinity?
Yeah.
Kind of jumping around. Man, I'm just excited to get my hands on it.
Oh no, I'm excited too, and I'm excited that you're so excited about Halo again. I know that you didn't hate it or anything, but I feel like for a long time it was just another game to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one thing I'll say with this, that I hope that it does get everybody back into Halo. But I don't know if I was somebody jumped off board. I don't know if this would have changed my mind, which is, like I said, I hope for that. I know unless it completely ruin it, that I'm still going to have fun with it, and I like that. But I wanted everybody to be back into Halo, and for people to be, holy shit. And I really don't know if this will do anything for those people.
Yeah. Do you think they'll have a collector's edition?
I think so. I was you were walking around and kind of out of the house for a little bit, but they were interviewing Aaron Greenberg after, and Jeff Keighley asked him about how he feels about collector's editions and what those even mean now with them going so heavy into Game Pass and marketing everything digitally. And he said he understands that people still want that, and that even though people like digital, the ice cream man's outside.
You have really good hearing with these things on. I can't hear shit.
But he said that even though that a lot of people like digital and the convenience and everything, he knows there are people that still like to collect things or even have the physical disc. So he said that they don't have anything to announce, but they'll have steel books, they'll have options, and people will be able to buy stuff, which, like I said, don't think we talk about on the podcast, never talking in person. You're saying how you hate when games release collector's edition without their games. And I used to feel the same way, and it still is weird, but I feel like now it makes more sense than ever, because, like, I probably will want to own Halo as a physical copy, so that doesn't make the most sense, but there's so many games that I have on Game Pass or that I could get digitally that I'm like, man, I want the collector's edition, but I'm not going to pay another fucking $60 on top of the collector's edition to get this game that I don't need. So I feel like, like I said, it does make sense now more than ever to just buy this collector's thing that doesn't have the game in it.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice to be able to buy at least the first party collector's editions this generation, because I've always wanted to do that, and I feel financially set to be able to do that this console cycle. So I hope they continue them. I would love, God, what is his name? The Brute Chieftain.
Oh, you talking about Atriox?
Yeah, Atriox. It'd be cool to have a statue of him.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
My mind goes to the Halo 3 Brute Chieftain. I still have it.
Yeah,
holding
I know
the
what you're
big
talking about.
gravity hammer. I think, right? Was it gravity
Yeah.
hammer? Oh yeah. There's just so many cool things they could do with it. Man, I want a price, announcement, release date, all of those things.
I'm with you. I'll add a couple more things on Halo and then we'll move on, but I feel like this is the biggest game and they presented it that, so it makes sense to spend more time on it.
Yeah.
I did like I said, how it looked visually like Halo 1, but I feel like they're throwing a lot of Halo 3 mechanics in there, which, like I said, I feel like gameplay-wise, Halo 3 was my favorite.
Yeah, you were calling them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Halo too much. I'm terrible with it. Like, yeah, even the equipment he was using, everything, and dropped like a modern day bubble shield. I was like, oh, this feels.
Didn't he catch a plasma too?
Yeah.
So sick.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up next. His grappling hook. There's a plasma that was far away from him, and he looked to the right and used a grappling hook to bring it in, and then threw it at a turret over to the left. Of this is so fucking cool.
Didn't the plasma shield come up though and catch it like midair?
Oh, did it?
I think so. Yeah, right before that.
Okay. Yeah. So if they can have the feel of Halo 1 with like the gameplay of 3, I'd be all about that. Like I said, I hope there is variety, and I hope they don't just abandon the things that worked in 343's games, because I feel like there is a lot to build off of there. But I feel like if you combine that with what they've learned from that, this could be fucking amazing.
Speaking of them using human equipment, remember there was a warthog down there. And at first I thought, oh my god, it's painted red. But it looked like the fuel tanks were painted red.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
So, God, that'd be so cool if they're just the junk man of the universe and using everybody's shit. And I could see how they could reincorporate the flood. Atriox, he's almost defeated. He's like, this is it. And then he's figured out a way to bring back the flood and releases it in the universe again. I could see that kind of shit.
I'd be okay with that, especially imagine how ugly the flood would look now with modern day graphics. Even like the remaster of 1, you know, these things look fucking 10 times worse, not in a bad way, but like creepy and gross.
Yeah.
So if you get to have that on the next generation.
Halo is like an amazing TV show, like one of the best sci-fi TV shows around a great video game. So I just get, especially with replaying them again. Oh man, it's good stuff.
Oh, I'm with you. You know, I could go all day. That's why I'm trying to move on to the next game, because I know I could just do this endlessly. We just have a Halo podcast going. I guess I should say before we keep going, they said that every game that they showed and that we'll be talking about will be available on Game Pass, which is fucking crazy to think about, that every game we're talking about we don't have to buy.
It's weird.
Imagine if going back like 5 years ago at E3, we're like, oh man, I don't know if I can buy this game, or man, I'm going to have to save up for this. And somebody telling you, be like, oh no, you can, all these games are yours. And I was like, oh no, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's so crazy to think about. Especially Halo at launch and just not having to pay anything is just so nuts to me.
It's weird.
They also, we'll move on to the next game once I say this, in that Aaron Greenberg interview, he talked about something that we talked about a lot even on our old podcast, and like I said, been my concern ever since they started not doing generation gaps, but like these iterations of consoles, is that they would all work together and you could play the games no matter what you have. And my concern was always that if you're doing that, something has to be dumbed down, or everything's not going to work together well. And he explained how they did it and made sense. And it definitely is dumbing down for the other people. I feel like eventually, I feel like that's fair. I don't feel like it's fair in the current cycle, but I feel like once you move to the next generation, you should expect things to be dumbed down. Because Jeff Keighley was asking him if what the point of buying a Series X is to play Halo if you can just use it on your modern Xbox, and how is that taking advantage of all these crazy things they're talking about with the Xbox Series X, all the technology they have in it. And he said the way they're doing it is that they're designing it for the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series X in mind. And then everything else will come after. So he said it will instantly run the best on the Series X. And then he didn't say it'd be dumbed down, but I feel like in marketing terms, he said it'd be dumbed down to the other consoles, but that they would all be playable together, which is also so cool because part of the issue with even with massive games like Halo at the launch of a new console, it's obviously just instantly a smaller audience because not 5 years or however long the console cycle has been of all these people have been built into it for years and years. So like I said, it sucks that it'll be dumbed down if you have the old consoles, but I think that's completely fair going in a new generation. I think it sucked when we were discussing the same generation about having like a Xbox X and a Xbox One and those being different. That's a weird noise. Those different playing scales, because I feel like that's kind of ridiculous and unfair. But I feel like it makes sense. But I also think that's a huge positive, knowing that you'll have that many people to play with at launch, that 3 different platforms can all play the same game together. I feel like it's such cool potential.
It was really cool. But I'm like, how is it viable for a business?
Yeah, that's why I said that's why I even debated not getting a Series X. But like I said, I have the original Xbox One, so for me that's such a jump. Even getting the X would probably be a huge jump right now. But the Series X should be a massive jump for me. And since Halo is my favorite franchise, to me, that's well worth it to get the new console to experience Halo at its true potential. Like I said, that's literally what they designed it for. So I don't think it's going to run terrible on Xbox One or anything, but I don't think it's going to look like you see when you're watching the presentations they're doing or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I get what you're saying. That's why I always thought it was kind of weird the way they're doing it, and I thought it was super weird they went out of their way to say that for the first 2 years, they didn't do it this conference, but they've done it in interviews, the first 2 years of the Series X lifespan, that there won't be a single exclusive game for that system itself. There will be for Microsoft, but not that system, which is crazy, but
real crazy.
Yeah. I feel like they're doing 2 years because, like I said, these games are clearly going to be dumbed down even if they don't want to use those words. I feel like after that is when they're going to have to move on because they can't just keep these games running on these old systems, even if they are dumbing them down. I feel like eventually they're not going to be able to run anymore.
Yeah. Man, that's just weird to... Such a different console cycle.
Yeah. You want to add anything to Halo before we go?
I'm just excited.
Me too. I can't be more excited.
I'll say you got to be way more excited than me. Because Halo 4 and 5, I was like, Halo 3 was such a great ending. ODST added some stuff. Reach was a really good prequel. I was like, how can you go beyond that? But beyond. But yeah.
The only other thing I'll say is that was getting me more concerned about this open world thing and these crazy ideas people are talking about is that they called it Halo Infinite and not Halo 6, because you even asked, so is this going to be the start of a new trilogy? And it's supposed to be the end of the trilogy, because when they announced it was called the Forerunner trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, and they changed this to Infinite. And I was like, I don't know if that's like a Destiny kind of thing, like it's the Infinite Halo, like it just keeps going, which as much as I don't like that and I don't want Halo to be that, Halo is obviously the one game where I would still play it even though I'm not a fan of that, because Halo is my favorite franchise, so that's the one game I could do that with. The issue for me is that every game's doing that and there's just no way to commit that much time to it. But I could do that with Halo, but I'd still prefer just like this is your story, you finish it, you have multiplayer, a straightforward game. And it also makes me wonder with them calling it Infinite and not Halo 6, if that is to try and get away from the storytelling and the weapons and everything of 4 and 5, which I hope is not the case, but I guess we'll see as it gets closer.
And if it did become like an MMO environment, it would ruin the excitement. There's no, like, the next Halo's coming out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, the next DLC, but it's not the same feeling.
No, I'm with you. That's why I said, I'm just being honest, I know I can preach that all I want, but if that happened, I would fall into the trap of Halo, but I still wouldn't prefer that. I just know I like Halo that much, so I would do it, but that's not how I want it to be. So the next game they showed, I don't think any of us expected it. I haven't played the second one, so for me it's not anything crazy, but State of Decay 3, which I played the first one, I really liked it, but I didn't stick with it. Have you ever played them?
Nope.
Oh, really? I feel like it'd be right up your alley. I think you'd like them a lot.
I need to.
They're completely co-op. The second one, I think both are on Game Pass. So if you want to do the second one,
one's in co-op.
yeah,
I thought so.
yeah,
Because our friend Peter, we ended up getting his Xbox One to work. Did I ever tell you that?
no, you told me about getting it, but
Yeah, it was just literally his power adapter. So I bought a new power adapter. So first Xbox power adapters are expensive, and so are Kinects.
the Kinects are.
Yes,
Huh.
I bought one for a couple of them for like $10 at a thrift store, and flipped them for $70.
Yeah, that's weird because the original Kinect, like 360, you can get those for like $5 most places.
Yeah, power adapters, they're right up there as well, because they had a high fail rate, and they really don't make them besides the ones that are out there. So we got that all hooked up for him, and then we found State of Decay 2. I think that's what ended up happening at Meijer or something. Where the hell did we get that? But I was like, yeah, maybe you should get this. I think it has co-op, really good co-op. So I need to get in them.
Yeah, especially if he has it, because it's kind of like a team-based or like camp-based thing. So if you have like 4 people, that's perfect. So if there's 3 of us, that'd be a ton of fun. And I liked it when I played it. I just, like a lot of games, stopped playing it. I heard the second one improved on almost everything the first one had issues with.
Really?
Yeah. This was just
Is this story driven?
not the first one. That was the one bummer. It was definitely more gameplay than story. There was a story there, but it was very loose, which is what I'm talking about with these kind of Destiny-style games. I feel like the story gets lost in that, which is Halo's biggest thing. That's why I hope that doesn't do it.
Lore is so good in Halo.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But this was just a cutscene trailer, which is what like 90% of these were, which is a bummer to me. I love seeing even if it's not on stage demos, those are the best because you have to disconnect the controllers and everything, which that doesn't even happen anymore because everything's programmed now. They're not actually playing them anyways. But it was cool with Halo getting the gameplay because all these were just like you see the cinematic, and the cinematic looked amazing, but there's no way to really tell what that's going to translate to. I mean, maybe more so with this because there's 2 existing games, but in general, I feel like if there's like a new franchise or something, it's hard to grasp what that would be like without gameplay.
Look more survival horror too.
Yeah. I'm all in. And then next they announced Forza Motorsport, which I don't know how many Forzas have been, but it seems like they recognize themselves and just rebooting Forza, which is a ridiculous idea.
That's a game that you would think would fit really well in an MMO environment.
Yeah.
That and sports games.
Yeah, you would think so, or especially with Microsoft owning them, just do like a Game Pass kind of thing with it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's obviously a huge audience for it because I feel like they would have had to make at least 12 of them by now because they had, I think, 7 Forza Motorsports games, and then they started doing the Horizon series, and I feel like they got to at least 5 with that, right?
I think so, yeah.
They
It
just
was
keep
yearly
going.
for a little bit.
Yeah.
Too.
So nothing I want to add on that. What about you?
Just like we said, just same old dubstep, engine noises. I think they're probably the best racing sim.
Mm.
But when I'm looking at racing games, I'm looking for like their kind of almost ridiculous arcadey feel.
Oh yeah, that's why I like to like kart racers or Burnout or something like that. That has
Cruising.
that for sure.
Love cruising.
Yeah, I definitely like the more unrealistic, or some people call them like child racers. That's definitely more my thing.
I had a kid that was super into the simulation games. He even had the car seat from an actual like
Yeah.
Integra with the whole attachments and stuff and surround sound, and it was sick. But I was like, man, I don't think I could play these games that much to invest this into them.
Oh, I'm sure it was cool. I told you when I got really into Burnout Paradise, even just getting the wheel felt so cool and just sitting there. And so yeah, if you're that into it, I can see why you do it, because even just me liking Burnout a lot and getting the wheel, I was, this is so fucking awesome. And it was right before I got my license too, so anybody watching me, I wish I was like streaming that or something at the time. Would have made fun of me like crazy, because that game's all about like doing crazy stuff and the crash and everything. And I feel like I did a thing people make fun of Grand Theft Auto, where you like stop at the lights and like try and turn signals and stuff.
Oh, you're practicing.
Yeah, I didn't. That's not the only thing I did with it. Obviously, I love the game, so I was doing all the crazy stuff. But yeah, there's times when, man, it feels kind of real. I have a wheel, so yeah, I'd like practice and like stop at the lights and wait for it to go and everything. So, like I said, people probably make fun of me like crazy if they saw me doing that, but
No, I remember doing the GTA with
oh, really?
Was it I forget which one it was where you could actually become a pizza delivery man.
Oh, yeah.
Some of our friends were like, we're out here hard-working men delivering pizza. We're just trying to make a buy.
Yeah.
That lasted about 20 minutes, and you just start shooting people.
Yeah, that's why I clarified I definitely did not normally play the game like that, because that'd be complete opposite of what that game's meant for. But yeah, there's definitely times when, maybe I should just do this, and it felt cool, because I feel like once you have your license for a while, it just seems normal, and like, oh yeah, I just gotta go work and do these things. But when you don't have your license and you're just about to get it, it's like the coolest thing in the world. Oh my god.
Scary too.
Yeah. I can just drive anywhere, and there's all these things I can think of I can go to. So,
I didn't fart. You breathed in like you're smelling something, but no, I
that's
didn't
what
fart.
I was doing. But I wasn't going to clear out on the podcast. That's why I just do it with my nose.
No, I did not shit my pants.
Then the next game was Rare's new game, Everwild, that they showed. You talked about before the conference started. They showed last year. And I completely forgot they even revealed this game.
Yeah. I have not much excitement for it. Sea of Thieves, I was like, wow, this looks crazy. This game just looks like I'm not sure. They haven't said enough about it.
Yeah.
Taking the art style that a lot of people are using right now. It looks like you're going around and you're collecting animals and they can help you and you can summon them. I'm not sure. I want to see gameplay.
Yeah. I thought you may hate me because you seemed excited, and I was going to say the same thing. I was like, this feels like a kind of game we kind of mock and joke about. Doesn't mean it won't be fun, and knowing it's Rare, I'm sure it's going to be quality, even if it's not my kind of game. But yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. And when I was talking about Rare last week, that's why you brought it up before the conference, because I was talking about how they haven't really done much and kind of been abandoned, which I did forget to mention. Sea of Thieves, that's definitely one. But I feel like more so, why I feel like they've been abandoned and why I don't really feel like it's Rare is that I feel like their games, as soon as you saw them, knew it was a Rare game, and they were so charming and so over the top and so colorful. And I feel like most of the Rare games that came out lately, I wouldn't even know are Rare games. Even Sea of Thieves I like a lot. And it is charming in a way with like the ridiculous instruments and the fun stuff you can do with it. But if you didn't tell me that was a Rare game, I could guess 10 other developers. And like I said, maybe that's a weird complaint and not even a valid one, because most of the games they're making are still quality games. And maybe they just evolved to the studio. But for me, I still picture them in their weird days like Conkers and Donkey Kong 64 and Viva Pinata and all these great games that a lot of people hate on, or Banjo-Kazooie. And that's still Rare for me, so I don't know, it kind of bums me out even liking Sea of Thieves. It bums me out that that's not what Rare is anymore.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, wonder how many people are actually still there from that generation.
Oh, I'm sure that's part of the issue, that I can't imagine there's many, but you would think. I always thought that was weird. People are like, yeah, but nobody's there anymore. But I would think if you were that kind of fan and you grew up, if you played that studio, you're probably a fan of that game, and that's why you wanted to work there. So I feel like you'd want to continue to do those things. Like, if I got a job at 343, I feel like I wouldn't want to be like, well, let's make this game that's nothing like Halo. I'd be like, let's make Halo, and I have my own ideas.
True.
And I just always thought that was weird that people are like, yeah, it's a different studio now. I'm like, yeah, but these people work at a studio, I'm sure some just got lucky or like just got better paying jobs and didn't care about Rare, which is fair. But I feel like majority of the time, if you're getting that kind of industry, you know what you want and you're excited for it. So that always seemed kind of weird to me.
You're right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Never thought about that.
Then the next game they showed was, again, it's already been showed before. It was Don't Tell Me Why, which is Don't Nod's new game. People made Life is Strange coming out August 27th. And I don't know if they said this before. I'm sure everybody assumed it's going to be episodic, because they said Chapter 1. That's how they've done almost all their games. So I'm not surprised by that. I still haven't played Life is Strange, and I own all of them because James said how good they are, and I want to play them. But
it makes me want to play them too.
Yeah. So I need to start that, but as we talk about in here, there's just so many games, so I'm not intentionally avoiding it. I just need to get through some of these games.
That trailer did not grab me, though.
No, yeah, it wasn't the best trailer, and a little over the top.
Yeah, oh man, the music. I feel like I make the same complaints about all these trailers, but they're so cliche. Like,
yeah.
Wow, but Mama loved you. I know she did, but I had to murder her. It's like the character slowly walking. It's kind of like a rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think with goddamn, what's the game you were really like? Well, you still really like it, but we talked about a bunch a few months ago.
What Remains of Edith Finch?
Yeah, because you kind of opened my eyes up to that game. I was like, maybe I can give these other ones a chance. And then James absolutely loves those games, so I need to try them. It's just like a goddamn Lifetime movie or something.
No, I hear you. That's fair. So the next one was the Ori and whichever one this is. Do you remember which Ori this is?
I think it's the same one. They're just redoing it for...
Well, this is a sequel to... I mean, I know the one they're showing now, but...
Oh, Will o' the Wisps?
Yeah, because there was one before it, right? The Blind Forest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First one.
Yeah, so they announced a new one was going to get a Series X update, and it seemed weird how much they focused on that, because I feel like they talked about that as a lot of other games later and kind of just glossed over it, so I don't know if they just want to mention Ori again or try and get more sales on it or something. So I wasn't going to go over all the games that are coming to Series X, and it's also getting so confusing what's transitioning over and what isn't, and that I can hardly even keep track of it anymore. The next thing that was announced was the Outer Worlds DLC, the Pearl on Gorgon, coming September 9th.
Pearl?
Yeah, what did I say?
Pearl?
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant to say, so I'm losing it.
I was like, wait, maybe that was Pearl. Pearl.
Yeah.
The Peril on Gorgon? Sounds so fucking nerdy.
It does, but I'm not going to lie to you, it also reminds me, I feel like I've talked to you about it, but if not, I know we're going to connect on this. The Gorgonites.
Oh.
So it was extremely nerdy, especially the way the guy said it. But I was like, I just pictured Gorgonites, which also sounds nerdy.
Yeah, dude, that's another thing that I've almost dropped a lot of money on eBay for is those toys.
Small soldiers.
Their toys are like
so great.
getting crazy.
Really?
Yeah, man. I want them.
I know I have some. I don't know if I could find them or not. But yeah, I had a lot of those as kids, like the main ones. Yeah, they're so great. And the Outer Worlds is a fantastic game, and this is on Game Pass, so you get the DLC if you already have Game Pass, which is cool. And I need to go back to it. Like I said when we were watching it, it's kind of thing where I keep wanting to play it, but I'm terrified because I'm like, God, I'm going to go back and not know where I was at and not know these mechanics. But then it's the stupid thing of the longer I do that, the more that's going to happen. So...
Well, maybe once we're done with Halo Wars, that could be our next one.
Oh, yeah, you'd fucking love that game. It takes a little bit to completely get into, and it's kind of like RPGs like that, like Fallout or something, where it seems slow or like there's not much to the game until you start upgrading and start learning the mechanics and the world opens and then you see how much is actually to the game. But it's fucking great. I think you'd love it.
Yeah, man.
This was kind of the start of Obsidian's like 5-minute part of the show. They showed that, and then they showed Grounded, which we just talked about small soldiers. It's weird. That's kind of how you could describe Grounded. They've shown it before, but it's a bunch of miniature people and...
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, but they're in like a battlefield and have to fight off insects and everything, since they're like the insects are like 10 times the size of them, and there's fucking horrifying spiders, and I don't know if I can... I was joking, but those spiders, I don't know if I can fucking play this game, which sucks because this game looks awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't really too sold on this game. This is probably the trailer that changed my opinion
really?
the most. Because it looks more like a co-op multiplayer game, base building, like a Rust. So that sounds right up my alley. I was like, I'm all about that.
Yeah. Is that... You got a machine gun?
That was my phone.
Okay.
Whoops.
I already know. People might think we're crazy that didn't come through on the podcast. I don't know if you hear these noises or not. But they announced it would be coming to Game Pass as early access in July, or July 28th. So you can play it again with all these, I guess. It's so weird. I was going to say you can play without buying it, but it's just how fucking all these are, which is so crazy. And then they announced their new RPG. Do you remember what this one was called? It started with A. I didn't put it on here.
Some weird noises. No, but it's like a name you would expect, like Agaroth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. It was nothing unique.
Obsidian, new game. Oh, Avowed.
This was another one where the majority of it was cinematic. It did end with a glimpse at gameplay, and it looked a lot like Obsidian's take on
Oblivion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Which is weird though, because I can't stand Oblivion, and I get multiple chances because I love Fallout, so I want to like it. But it did nothing for me. But this one I was actually excited for and thought it looked cool, which I don't know why, because I just said that was my first thought too. So this looks just like Elder Scrolls, but for some reason I'm excited. It was probably 5 seconds of gameplay, so that could change, but just that 5 seconds, I was like, man, this looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, and Obsidian has done so well with that Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah.
That I'm sure they wanted to get their hands on Elder Scrolls, so they're like, we're going to do it ourselves.
Yeah, and they obviously know how to make RPGs between Fallout and Outer Worlds and South Park and all these things they've done.
I forgot about South Park.
Yeah. That would be so fucking great if they could get them to do an exclusive South Park. It's not going to happen. I don't know if there'll ever be another South Park game, because if you hear Matt and Trey talk about how much of an undertaking it was.
Yeah.
Which sucks, because those games are fucking great.
And you could tell they worked really hard on it.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like the previous ones when we were kids.
Yeah. You know, that 64 game's great.
Yeah. I feel like to us, but...
No, yeah, I know that. I told you 64 is like a alternate reality. I'm like, wait, what? Because it was the worst selling Nintendo console ever. And like I said, in my head, everybody had that, and it was kind of weird if you had a PlayStation. All these games that were our like top play games, if you look at reviews, got fucking destroyed. I'm like, I must have been living in a different reality or something, because this is not what I was living in.
Oh man, this is a bad generation to go back to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the worst part, and why even more so I wish some of these games will bring back, not maybe necessarily the games, but the style of games and modernize them.
Mm-hmm.
The next game they showed, I think you said was your favorite. It was called As Dusk Falls, and they described it as an interactive drama. It was the one that you said is like that show.
So just go watch the trailer for this, and then go watch a clip of Tom Goes to Mayor, because that's pretty much what it is. It's just like freeze framed, like, wow, wasn't that really cool?
Yeah,
wow, that was really cool.
It was bad. The streamer we were watching kept cutting out. We didn't miss anything, but it was like stutter, and I actually thought it was stuttering for a second because that dude's face was not moving. And I was like, this is the game.
That was really emotional what you did. I'm sorry. Just go watch Tom Goes to Mayor. That's what this game is. So no. Especially when he's like this like emotional moment where he's got a gun pointed at some guy. He's like, "I'm gonna kill you." No, don't do that. I'm gonna shoot your brains out. Better get your hands up. Like, God, what? I don't know. I want to see gameplay. I guess maybe that is gameplay. Who knows what these artistic games.
It's an interactive drama.
Interactive drama. It's probably watch it be amazing.
Yeah. The next game they showed was Hellblade 2, and I ran upstairs for this because I haven't beaten the first one, so I don't want anything spoiled. So I literally couldn't tell you anything about this.
You know, that could also be our next one. I hear that's a really short game.
Yeah, I've heard it's literally like 4 or 5 hours, and I was like, when I played, I had some issues with it. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, I'd be down for that because another game that I started, and it's like, I heard it's short, I'll beat it, and I was like, oh, I could play this game instead, and just kept bouncing around.
Just the same stuff over again.
Okay.
You didn't miss much.
Gotcha. And then they went on a Destiny 2 spree where they announced it was coming to Series X. Like I said, I can't keep track of it, but they did announce some cool things with it. They said every DLC will come to Game Pass Ultimate, so whether you play on PC or Xbox or the new Xbox, you'll get all the DLC. And then I don't know if the release date was announced yet or not, but they announced Beyond Light will be coming November 10th, their new DLC pack. Or like we talked about a few episodes ago, like a new season or essentially the start of their Destiny 3, if you want to call it that. So that's pretty crazy. Unfortunately, I play on PlayStation, so that kind of fucking sucks.
Does your character carry over?
It does, but unless I have people to play with it still.
Oh.
I did think about that. I was like, man, yeah, I could bring my character over, so I guess I could do that. But then everybody I play with can't play still, so. But if you want to play or other people do, I'm okay. I'm totally down for that.
I haven't played it since launch. I
Oh,
went real hard for about 2 months.
That's where I was, so I still don't know exactly what I'm doing as I talk about in here. But I would totally be down for that. I loved it.
I played on PS4 as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then, they also announced with Destiny 2 that it would be coming to Project X Cloud, so you could play it whether you have the game or not, and just play it streaming, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're super into Destiny, that's fucking awesome. You could just take that anywhere and play it with you. Then they announced Stalker 2, which you freaked out about.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I've heard the name, but that's all. So to me, I was like, oh, yeah.
It's like a older PC game that it's got a really good fan base. I think Russia is really big too. Basically, it's people always give Metro shit because Metro kind of took that formula. I know it's from a book, but Metro is Last Light is very similar to it. But whereas Metro is like kind of more Fallout-y with like mutants and stuff, Metro is kind of more realistic. Yeah, I'm excited. It's one of those PC games I always wanted to play, and I think there was a sequel that was quickly rushed because they're kind of indie games that people shit on and they hate it. I don't know too much about it besides the internet memes and Reddit's love of it and how big it is in Russia. And there's a famous quote to it too. "What are you doing here, stalker?" or something like that, some meme. But I watched a lot of gameplay of people playing it and always been like, I need to download that and figure out a way to play it. But yeah, so now it really is like making me want to go back and play the old ones.
Yeah, I hear you. I definitely skipped over a game. Between Hellblade 2 and Destiny 2, there's a lot of 2s. The 4 in a row, actually. It was Psychonauts 2 from Double Fine, which I talked before the press conference started. I completely forgot Microsoft bought Double Fine, which is so crazy. I've actually never played the first Psychonauts, but I know this is a game people have been waiting literally forever for. And I thought it looked cool, but I was going to say I would want to play the first one before I play this, but I don't know if the first one really holds up, if I should play that or not. It seems like one of those 64 style games, not that it was 64, but that style where it might seem real outdated and kind of unplayable now.
I watched some gameplay of it, and one of my good friends, Andrew, just replayed it again, and he seemed to like it a lot.
Oh, really?
Held up. I think there's a remake, maybe even on the VR.
I know you actually bought me the VR version, but it's a separate game, but maybe there is there might very well be a actual Psychonauts VR game aside from that.
Got you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought there was a remake. But yeah, from what I could tell, it is a PS2 graphics, so probably be a little bit better.
Yeah. There was something when all these games started. There was like a switch where that girl was talking. Do you remember what? It was a big deal about how all these games coming up are going to be something. We were all like, wait, really? But I can't remember what it was.
Day one exclusives or something like that.
Oh, is that what it was? Launch
exclusives, yeah.
Okay. I think that started. Did that start at Hellblade 2?
I think it was right after that.
Okay. So.
I don't know what the hell that means, really. It just means eventually it'll be on PS5.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. And
Kind
I guess it
exclusives.
has to be farther down, if that is what she said, because after Stalker 2 was Warhammer Dark Tide, and it doesn't come till 2021. So
that was where it started, because we were like, what the hell does that... It started, I think, with Stalker.
Did it?
Yes.
Okay.
What was before Stalker again?
Stalker 2 is Destiny 2.
I think it was Stalker 2 where it started.
Because it can't be day one then, because Warhammer is 2021.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it's these games are timed exclusives.
Oh, okay.
Which kind of pisses me off. I hate those. It's just one or the other, man.
I don't know. For me, it's never really bothered me. I can see why it'd be frustrating if you have the other console, but I've been in that boat where I don't have it. And, I mean, it does suck if you don't have it. It definitely does bother me, but I feel like it doesn't bother me business-wise because I get why they do it. And if I was running a business, I would be like, yeah, if I could steal fucking, not that they're doing with Destiny, but if I could steal Destiny 2 for a year, I would totally do that. So I guess it does suck consumer-wise, but like business-wise, I could see why they do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually kind of pissing me off because of the business side of it, because I want Xbox to have its own exclusives. Like, PlayStation's got a huge catalog of great games. Why can't we?
No, I'd prefer actual exclusives rather than this. And I feel like, I know why they don't do it business-wise, but I feel like if it is a time exclusive, that's something that should be out there and be known instead of somebody buying a system and then a year later a game comes out. Like I said, I know why they don't business-wise, because that's exactly why they don't do that, because they want you to think it is exclusive. But usually, I feel like it'd be better to be upfront about that anyways, because this stuff always comes out anyways, and then people start making fun of it or interviews happen. So I feel like, especially with how Xbox has been lately, I feel like it'd make more sense just to be upfront, be like, yeah, this is a timed exclusive, and be honest about that.
Yeah.
I know you were really into Warhammer, and you seemed excited about this.
Yeah, man, because the company, I forget who makes them. The ones you want.
Relic? Is that what you're talking about?
Vermintide? Vermintide?
Yeah, that's one of their games. I think Relic's the developer, though, unless I'm making that up.
The same people made Vermintide. Who made that?
Let me look.
Because that's who's making this new one.
Okay.
But see, they have the Warhammer universe, which is kind of like a medieval take on it. Then they have 40K, which is kind of like the futuristic take on it in the future. And I prefer that over the medieval one because Warhammer 40K, it's very similar in the Halo lore. It's just it's even bigger than Halo lore by far, and there's so many different things.
Yeah.
And it just looks, the cinematic of that. And I feel bad that Warhammer 40K has really never gotten a great movie or video game. There's a good one on PS2 that I liked a lot as a kid. And then some strategy games on the DS that were okay. But that world is perfect for video games.
Yeah.
And just seeing like the 4 Marines, I think they were Marines, running through, and it looked like it might have been Chaos. I'm not sure what the guys were, but what I could tell, it's like waves of different enemies. Mm-hmm. One was wounded, he was bleeding, and they're trying to get to this dark area, and it just looks perfect. I hope there's a campaign.
Yeah.
Because, man, I don't play the game, the actual 40K game, nor read the books. Started one of the books, 8 years ago, and they're just so ridiculous. But there's a YouTuber that explains things and condenses it down and includes pictures, and it's amazing. Just the thought that goes into these worlds.
Yeah.
And that Stalker 2 looked really good, man. Just seeing him go through there, and then I think it was Chaos. I'm not sure I think it was called Chaos, which is kind of like their I don't know how to describe them. Basically, they're like super religious guys, and that's their version of demons have taken over a portion of the Marines. I don't know. I don't know if it was diseased. There's also some diseased creatures, kind of like the Flood. I don't know. I'm excited because they're very similar to Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
Those type of games, but now it's with guns.
Yeah. I know I haven't played Vermintide, but I thought it looked like a ton of fun. I know I talked to you about it for a while. I don't think they have a campaign, so I bet this one won't either, but I'm with you. I hope it does.
Sucks.
And
that cinematic was awesome.
Yeah, I know it definitely was. And I didn't realize the Dark Tide was that was a spin-off, like you were saying, Vermintide. I didn't put that together. Dark Tide, Vermintide, that it'd be like a different version of Vermintide. So that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And then was it Warhammer? Which one was on 360? Oh, Space Marine, was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot. I know this thing gonna be
similar.
Forgot
about that one.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So, yeah, I'm all about this.
Yeah.
Then the next one they announced was very opposite. Tetris Effect Connected, which was we were joking about it being Tetris, but then it actually ended up being Tetris because the trailer starts with a bunch of these families playing this game and being real over the top, and they start falling down blocks, and then it's Tetris. It's kind of crazy to think about Tetris being in the next generation, presenting these games with these massive games, and how old Tetris is. I don't really care about Tetris. It's cool though to think about that.
I want a live action. What be live action? I'm trying to narrative.
Yeah, we talked about that on the movie podcast.
Dude, that story's insane.
Yeah,
and just see how it keeps going. It looks kind of cool to me. I know this Tetris. The Pac-Man. Remember the Pac-Man kind of had a resurgence on the 360.
Yeah, the championship is what it was.
Yeah, they kind of remind me like Tetris's version of it.
Yeah. Well, Tetris Effect is already out, I think, is it?
Yeah.
So, then the next game they showed was probably the grossest name I've ever heard for a game, called The Gunk. Do you remember anything about this game? I remember the name, but
Kind of look like a girl going around just shooting gunk off a planet or something.
okay, maybe that's why it didn't stick with me.
Yeah, it looked like a third person. Let me look up some photos of it.
Like, I feel like most of these games, is the opposite of what we talk about these press conferences. I don't even have a lot of notes for them. I know what they are, so I feel like that's a good sign. Rather than we usually do these things, and I'm like, oh, what the hell was this game? I feel like we barely had to do that yet, but this one, I couldn't remember what the gunk was.
Let's see here. I got some pictures pulled up of it. Yeah, it kind of looks like she's going around, like just shooting this shit. Kind of looks like Recore.
Oh, really?
God, I think Recore was a big letdown.
Still haven't played. That's another one that's on my backlog.
Well, it's like, is it the final boss? End of the game breaks itself.
Yeah. I think I talked about in here. I know I talked to you about it before, but the lead writer on that was the lead writer on Halo, is why I was so interested in Recore. I thought it looked cool too,
I
but
remember you telling me that.
yeah. So I need to give it a chance, and I got it so cheap anyways. And then the next game they showed was a game they showed before. I think it was maybe at their last press conference thing they had, but it was called The Medium, which I think last time we talked about it, we don't know what the hell this game is, and I still don't know exactly what it is, but it looks like it was really different and really cool how they're showing like two versions of the world at once, and like one side looked really like dark and demonic, and the other one looked like a normal modern day thing. I don't know if you're actually, it did say simultaneously you'll see that. I don't know if that's really how the gameplay is going to be. That'd be really cool. Like one side is the left stick, the other side's the right stick, something like that. I feel like that'd be a really cool mechanic of showing how the world's changing and everything.
Or you can play with two people. One
Yeah,
person
that'd be
sees
awesome.
something and tries to tell you, like, stay away from this area.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what it is, but it gave a little more glimpse of it and kind of more curiosity about it. And then they showed, I feel like probably one of the biggest games, not for me at all, I care less, but Phantasy Star Online 2, which I feel like that's kind of crazy that it's coming to Xbox.
I think that was already released in Japan, like, years ago, man.
Yeah, I don't think it's a brand new game, but I think it's new to Xbox.
I just want to get this, like, so it's a complete overhaul of it. Yeah, released in 2012, man. And just now came to the United States this year.
Yeah.
8 years later. So it looks like they're going to redo it and bring it back for Xbox One. It has really good reviews. People said in 2012 it did a lot of cool stuff MMO-wise that a lot of games have since do already. So it's not that amazing to Americans, but I would love to try it on the Xbox. I think they're free to play too.
I think they will be, and if not, everything's on Game Pass, so for you it is free to play.
That's right, buddy.
That's actually what I was going to talk about with this next game, Crossfire X, which this game looks awesome, but that's a fucking horrendous name. That's like the most generic thing I've ever heard. So I was going to talk about how the multiplayer, they've said for a while, is free to play, but the campaign that is made by Remedy, which they're not making the multiplayer, is two separate developers. You'll have to buy that, but if you have Game Pass, then obviously they're both free, so kind of weird to break things down, what's free to play and what's not, because so many people have Game Pass now that it kind of is free to play still.
Yeah.
I know the difference. It's just weird to think about that. But this game was fucking awesome, and all they've shown at this point was multiplayer, which looks like a ton of fun. But it's the first time they showed the campaign, which, is, like I said, is made by Remedy, and I love Remedy. And I didn't expect it to look this good, though, in the campaign to be. This looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, some people were complaining that it looks like they're ripping off Call of Duty.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm also, I know the shooter's huge in Korea, so I'm sure it's got to be great multiplayer.
Yeah, I've never heard of it till they announced it, whenever they announced it for the first time.
Same.
Okay. Yeah, but then we started looking into it, and it was fucking massive there, and I was, so this multiplayer must have something. And then when they, on top of that, announced that Remedy are making the campaign, I was like, this sounds fucking great. And yes, I'm all about it, especially since we get on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And then they ended the show by teasing the new Fable, and they just called it Fable, so I'm guessing it's a reboot of the series. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Fable guy, but obviously it's huge news and was rumored and a lot of people expect it to happen, but it happened.
Yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see how it fares. I do like it because it is like a watered down RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Like games like The Witcher is hard for me to get into because it's just so ridiculous and there's so many
massive.
things. So yeah, I'm excited, and it's always got that really great mechanic of if you're evil. And I'm guessing they're bringing that back because they kind of hinted at that in the trailer. They had a fairy flying.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Real friendly, and then it got real dark, and a toad ate the fairy. So yeah, I hope they keep some of those mechanics from the third one though, like the empire building and management.
Yeah, I don't think the looks is the most hated thing, and like I said, it seems like a reboot anyways. But it'd be cool if they did.
Yeah,
I had no input. That's just what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's weird to have Derek say that he felt the same way.
Yeah.
And he brought up a good point. It's probably because we were joined so late. I think he's right.
It could be. Maybe it's because I wasn't a big fan, so maybe I'm not really the prime target. Like I said, I did start with 1, and I started playing 2, and I never played 3, and 3 still seemed the most interesting to me, but maybe I'm not the, even though I started early, maybe I'm not the fairest assessment since I wasn't a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
So that was everything. Overall, I thought, I would say I was underwhelmed, but not how I was at these past press conferences. I was underwhelmed because, like I said, I had a whole list of other crazy announcements, and I didn't expect a lot of them to happen. That's why they're crazy announcements, but not one of them happened, and I thought there was a good chance that something would happen like that. But at the same time, I feel like overall it was a solid showing of games. They didn't have a lot of nonsense in between. The presentation was, I think, the best so far, even better than Sony's. Like the backgrounds and the interviews and everything all seemed on E3 level without the unfortunate cringe.
I think it was smart for them to preface, like, guys, this isn't here, this isn't here. This is what to expect.
Yeah, that helps too. And I feel like it was solid overall. Like I said, I feel like it's a good sign that we weren't, every time I brought up a game, oh shit, what was that? I feel like every game either knew what it was or they explained it well enough that we could talk about without having to research every single game and just be like, oh, this game was so similar, I don't know what it was. So I don't know if underwhelm's a fair word because I said those were all crazy announcements, but I thought it was fair something would happen. And overall, the game showcase was good. The presentation was good, like I said, and I feel like I said it before, but I feel like this is the closest we've had to an E3 press conference. It felt like it, like excitement-wise, like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? Instead of kind of everybody just sitting there like, and just kind of waiting for it to be over, and oh, that was really lame. So I don't know. This felt the most like E3 to me so far.
Yeah, I would agree. I wish there was more gameplay stuff. There was a lot of cinematic trailers. So that part sucks. None of my predictions except Fable came true. So, granted, mine were pretty ridiculous. Still holding out that they'll buy Sega. Such a perfect match.
Yeah, I had my list up. You just went over yours, so we don't have to go over every single thing. The only one I got right was no release date, price, or other console shown. Everything else was wrong, including the no Fable announcement, which is what they ended on. So yeah, we just got one right out of our predictions. So not the best, but it was the first time I did predictions. Anything else you want to add on that?
No, that's it, man.
That's it. All right, we can go on the normal show. Do you have any corrections, questions, or feedback?
No, it did seem like the video was a little bit lower, audio-wise. Do you turn it down a little bit in Audacity? Or DaVinci?
No, I didn't like the, you're talking about our Xbox predictions or the one? No, I didn't even touch it that time. Because we sounded so loud I purposely didn't touch it.
I don't know why I thought it sounded low.
It might have just been the setup we were doing, not having it like this, because, yeah, I didn't touch anything this time. Besides turning on stereo, so we didn't have the issue like I normally forget of having on mono. But I don't have anything either. So if you have any corrections, questions, or feedback, you can send it to currentbackloggers@gmail.com. You have any news?
Oh, news?
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I was not. For some reason, I thought news was later in the show.
I was going to say maybe it is, but I always copy and paste it, so unless something got messed up, it shouldn't be.
So this was on the Reddit for the Xbox Series X.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll show you the photo here. Somebody,
Okay.
Convenience store. Did you see this?
No, I didn't know what I was looking at first, and how is this really the Xbox? But now I see the Master Chief on there.
Yeah. Some convenience store accidentally put out Monsters early, and It's got Master Chief on the front of it for 2 times XP. But they're basing it off your receipt, which kind of sucks. I always forget to grab my receipt for those kinds of things. It's kind of cool to see that kind of stuff. I'm excited to. Reminds me of being a kid when Halo 3 came out.
Yeah, I'd be all in if Microsoft went all in on the dumb advertising and the sponsorships and game fuel and all that.
Yeah. Then the only other thing is we were talking about business financially wise. How's Xbox making money on this stuff? How are they faring? This is from Colt Eastwood. You ever heard of him?
No, is he related to Clint?
I didn't think about that. I was like, who the fuck's Clint? I was like, oh, Clint Eastwood. That's one of those things you never, like, someone said, oh, yeah, Eastwood or Clint. Like, it's always going to have them together for you to know who that is. Like Obama. You're like, oh, yeah, Obama.
Yeah.
But Clint, good old Clint. I knew a Clint growing up.
That always sounds like the grossest name because it sounds way too close to Clint.
One time he was skateboarding and fell. We were in 8th grade. He fell and got up. He fell and we were laughing at him because he fell hard. Oh, you're an idiot. And then he stood up and the top of his arm, he had a bone sticking out of it and it was squirting blood everywhere. Bones are really, really white.
Oh, yeah.
They're like the whitest thing in the world. And he was squirting out blood. And, of course, he goes into shock, freaking out. And he's trying to follow us. But we don't want the blood on us. And we're tired of looking at it because it was scary. So we had to tell him, like, dude, stop coming near us. We've already called your dad. You're fine. But it was disgusting. His dad also, fun fact, his dad was, like, a homicide detective for the state of Virginia. So his dad was, like, you ever watch a show where it's, like, a detective and he's like, my life sucks.
Yeah.
Real dark. It's exactly how his dad was. You can imagine the terrible shit he's seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first time, or second time I've ever seen a bone outside of a human body. It was a gnarly break.
I don't think I've ever seen one in person, but I know what it looks like from video and stuff.
God, dude. If we had that on, we had it on video, those terrible ass cell phones back then. But it definitely could have got on that show Scarred.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so Colt Eastwood on Twitter retweeted or screenshot this other guy, Daniel Ahmad. I don't even know. But so he says that Microsoft says gaming revenue Xbox was up to 64% year over year for the quarter ending in June 30th, 2020. So content and service revenue is up 65%. Hardware revenue is up 49%. So they have strong game sales, subscription growth, hardware sell-through, and they think it's driven by COVID. Fucking COVID making all gaming shit go through the roof right now. Gaming revenue grew, 64%, and the services grew through 65%. But I think they're not giving enough credit to the fact just how great their Game Pass is.
Yeah.
People are saying how great Game Pass is, and they're picking up Xboxes then. So it looks like I was kind of concerned they wouldn't be making money, but it seems to be working out for them. So I'm excited to see how well things go into the future for them. Mm-hmm. Then you might have this on there too. We talked about it last podcast, the memory cards.
Oh, yeah.
This is from HardwareTimes.com. Seagate has revealed the Microsoft Next Gen Xbox Series X console will use a storage expansion. This is why when you get into some of those websites where they just get too nerdy. This is the article. Based on capital P, capital C, lowercase l, lowercase e, PCLE 4.0 times 2. What the fuck does that even mean? The company has launched the product page for the 1 terabyte expansion cards, which reveals a bit of what to expect from the console storage. So I'm excited because I'm having huge storage issues with my launch Xbox One. It appears that the expanded memory will be as fast as the internal drive. Here we go again. The XSX will feature storage speeds of up to 2.4 gigabytes per second, and considering that the internal storage will leverage 2 PCI Gen 4 lanes. What the fuck does that even mean? You can be able to maintain the same bandwidth. In fact, you can achieve the same speeds using the older PCIe 3.0 interface as well. Oh, good, because I was really concerned about my PCIe 3.0 interfaces. So, I don't know. I know we were kind of saying like it's kind of crazy memory cards are coming back, but these seem like kind of like hybrids. and will be easy to interchange and put in and out.
Yeah.
And it almost sounds internal because you were complaining that like you're plugging stuff in, you got wires hanging. Was that Ziggy that said that?
Not wires, but yeah, the pictures show it's literally like a memory card you plug in the back of the system. So it, I think maybe where you're getting the wires was, that I actually said it looked the opposite. It was a lot more streamlined because you don't have like a box and a wire hanging out of it. It's just like a little slot that you plug in the back of the system. I just still think it's weird that that's our alternative instead of just knowing that this is going to happen and building a system for that.
Yeah, so judging by the nerdy language there, it's a pretty good system of reading and writing speeds, so
Yeah.
hopefully shit will download faster and work faster.
I gotcha. Is that all the news you got?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm going to do my normal thing of going out of order, not making much sense, as I do. Before I get into my news, I realized I forgot to talk about a couple things. So you asked last week or 2 weeks ago, you said you needed to know how I felt about Alfredo's pizza. Do you remember that? In Scranton, the pizza from the office.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll tell you once I start talking about all my food and everything I did there. And Danielle was listening to the episode and she said, you never got back to Alfredo's. I was like, yep, that's what I get when I start rambling. Yeah, it was one of the weirdest pizza I've ever had. Didn't even look like pizza. It was square pieces, which I'm used to. I know not a lot of Columbus pizzas like that, so that wasn't that weird to me. But they're almost like squares, but like way longer, and also the bottom was like almost brown, but the top looked like the cheese didn't even get a little brown, so it's just like white.
Like a pita.
Yeah, and it looked really run down, but on the inside it was super busy and really expensive. So it all seemed very conflicting with each other, and it was edible. It wasn't bad, but a lot of people in the car said it tasted like grilled cheese. And so it was very weird. I was going to say if you're ever there, you should try it. Maybe you should just for how weird it is. I think they sell by the slice. That might be a better option because I don't think it's that great. But that's what I thought of Alfredo's.
Nice.
And then we also I missed one other place called the Holy Donut, which is the most ridiculous name, in Portland. It was really good. The only reason I brought that up was I forgot to say it. And also, they make their donuts with, oh my God, what is it now? I'm losing it. Give me a second. It's a really...
Cake donut?
Yeah, it's like a cake donut, but they use a weird ingredient.
Pea.
That's it. Yep. I almost didn't eat it because that sounds fucking disgusting.
Sour cream.
No. Damn it, I thought it'd come right up. Okay. I don't want to take forever to find this. So I'm going to talk about something else while I'm looking for it. So when we were talking about our dream games, and I talked about how I didn't necessarily have one, but my idea of Columbus and history, and everything.
Uh-huh.
I had an idea of how that would seem so much cooler and way more interactive. I feel like that'd be a perfect VR game to be able to, because especially I've seen everything built up around you and be able to interact with stuff. I randomly thought that would work. That'd be so fucking cool in VR. It'd already be cool with the controller, but be able to experience history in VR like that.
It's weird you mentioned that. Right as you said, I was like, man, that'd be cool in VR.
Oh, really?
Yeah, then you're like, that'd be cool in VR. Oh, the glitch in the Matrix.
Okay. Oh, that's what it is. God. Yeah, they make it with potatoes.
Potatoes.
And that sounds fucking disgusting. And they weren't the best donuts or anything, but they were good.
Really?
Yeah. So I just thought I would fill that in, especially because I thought it'd be something else to be able to talk about potatoes, because I never heard that, and it was disturbing. So
That was disturbing, that noise. You had ghosts in here, man. Especially if you're like, do you hear that? And I heard people talking in your kitchen.
Yeah, I meant to mention when you were talking about being scared when I said, asked if you heard that. Danielle said I terrified her last episode as she was watching, because she was in the house watching it, and I was like, what is that? And I don't hear anything. And she said she got scared watching it, even though it was opposite already over at that point. So that was it. I can get on to my news now. So when I was streaming last time, I was talking, I don't know if you joined this point, about how it was weird to think about Madden because this would be the last Madden with the Redskins in it because they're getting rid of the Washington Redskins name and logo. And I guess I should say when I was streaming, I talked about how I'd be streaming the Pro Bowl, but we decided against that. Derek won the Super Bowl with the Panthers, 10-7. So it sounded incredibly close against the computer. The team that knocked me out of the playoffs, he was playing the Super Bowl and beat him 10-7. But we were gonna stream the Pro Bowl, but they decided against since they wanted to play the Super Bowl. So that's why I didn't stream. But I'm gonna try and get back into streaming soon. But the Redskins, like I said, this would be the last Madden with it. At least I thought. But then EA said that Madden 21 will launch with the Redskins logo and name, but there'll be a day one update to remove the name and logo, and they'll just be a generic Washington team. Now that sounds so ridiculous. And then it got more ridiculous. This isn't completely gaming news, but relates back into it because I thought this was clickbait, but it's from CBS Sports. The Washington owner, Daniel Snyder, said that the team will be called the Washington Football Team. And I was like, is this fucking soccer? What's happening here?
Yeah.
It's only interim, so I think they're doing it because they probably don't have all the placeholders in it, line and everything to be able to get their logo and name in time for a season. So I guess Madden's actually going to be accurate because all they are is the Washington Football Team. So they're going to have their same colors and everything, but instead of a logo, they're going to have numbers on their helmets.
Did you hear too that the logo is a famous Indian man, and that it was approved by members of his tribe and family? Got the green light from it.
Yeah.
So what's the issue with the logo? The name I get's a little like, okay, guys.
No, I'm with you.
So the logo doesn't make sense to me.
I'm with you.
The name it's like, okay, that's a little, you're out there with that one. But, yeah.
No, it all seems kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, I need to look more into it. It's more of those internet memes have been saying shared, but supposedly it was approved by his tribe and family members, and was an accurate representation.
So it's weird because, like I said, I assume this would be the last man with the Redskins, but I guess 21 will have it and then won't have it. And then I was thinking about how weird that would be to just have a generic looked like created user team, but I guess it's going to be true to life because that's what the Redskins will be rocking in real life till they get their new name and logo.
I like how the Indians are just like, yeah, that's messed up, man. We're definitely, and they just keep changing subjects. They just wait for because this shit doesn't last. If you just stay like, oh yeah, that's crazy, and then eventually people forget about it.
I don't know if you saw this, but MLB is starting back up. Well, I know you know that. And the regular season starts tomorrow, at least for the best team in baseball, the Reds. I'm not sure if regular season starts sooner.
That reminds me, what's the score, buddy?
I'm not sure.
Let's, I'm curious. Also, I want to look up this, the Washington, they haven't started yet. They started at 6:10.
Oh.
I want to look up that Indian because, man, that's kind of messed up. If I was his family member, I'd be like really proud of that, and then they'd take it away from you.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw though for the games, they're gonna be doing the thing where they're pumping in crowd noise as well, like the MLS was doing. But the way they're doing it is using sounds from MLB The Show, which seems so fucking weird that you'd use a simulation of baseball for your baseball noises. Wouldn't you just use real crowd noises instead of fake crowd noises of the real crowd? The only thing I can think of is maybe they're actually working with what studio is it that Sony owns? I can't remember. Sony San Diego, I think. Maybe they're working with them to actually have it like programmed to sync with it, since they know like in the game they can program it. If something good happens, then you cheer. Something bad happens, you boo or make noise or whatever. Made something like that. It's actually like a program thing and not just like, hey, we need this audio sample. Except that's all it is. I don't know why the hell you would take it from a game. That seems so unnatural.
It does seem weird. So, looking it up from Wikipedia, in the debate of the meaning of the word Redskin, team supporters frequently cite a paper by Ives Goddard, a Smithsonian Institute senior linguist. It claims that the term was a direct translation of the words used by Native Americans to refer to themselves and was benign its original meaning. But some people say there's no way to actually accurately translate the native words. So it doesn't make sense to me. So even the name itself is what the Native Americans supposedly, if you translate to English, what they refer to themselves as.
And like I said, every major poll I've seen, majority of Native Americans say they don't care, so I don't know why the hell it's an issue.
The current logo, proposed by Walter Wetzel, a former Blackfeet tribal chairman and the past president of the National Congress of American Indians, was introduced in 1972 and is modeled after the likeness of the buffalo nickel. So who is on the buffalo nickel?
According to Wikipedia, the buffalo nickel or Indian head nickel is a copper nickel 5-cent piece that was struck by the United States Mint from 1913 to 1938.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad to figure out who that was. Okay, so it's a composite of 3 different Native Americans: Chief Irontail and Ogla Lockton and Chief Two Moons of the Cheyenne. So it's a combination of like 3 leaders in the Indian nations. So I guess I could understand the name still a little bit, but the logo, this is bananas to me. Yeah, but I guess that's where I have no say in it. I'd be pissed if I was a Washington Redskins fan.
Yeah. The next news, I know you don't care about this game, but Rocket League is going free to play in the summer, or this summer. I was going to say summer of 2020, but it's this summer. And then on top of that, they said Playtonics Games, which is a developer, said that it will go free to play in summer of 2020, and existing players will gain legacy access and earn all the DLC previously released before it goes free to play.
Wow.
Which, that's super nice that they're doing that, and I feel like goes above and beyond what you have to do as a developer. I'm sure there would be people that complains that they paid for it and other people get it free, but I feel like that's completely normal. The game's been out, like fucking 4 years now. I feel like that's how most things work. If you wait a long time, you can eventually get cheap or free. So I feel like the fact that you get to play it 4 years before somebody else is enough of why you're paying for it and why they're not. They had to wait 4 years for it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I feel like doing that on top of it, the fact that you get all the previous DLC released up to that point is pretty fucking crazy. And I feel like people trash developers and publishers all the time for not caring about gamers and always doing whatever they can, which I'm sure in the end that's still a business aspect of that they're thinking they do the right thing, that they'll sell more later on or whatever, but still, and every developer and publisher can do that and they don't. So I thought that was kind of cool they did that.
Give me another reason to try it again too.
Yeah, I'd be down. I think you'd have fun if we just were messing around doing it. I know some people get way too serious, kind of like FIFA or any of those kind of games with it, but it's a lot of fun just to mess around with. I don't think I'm very good at it. A few smaller things with more press conferences. It seems like it just keeps going, and once one ends, they talk about how they're going to be talking about something else later. So Ubisoft announced their second Ubisoft Forward conference coming in September. They didn't give a date yet, but we'll have that, and hopefully have more shows where we can talk about all these fucking ridiculous press conferences. And Sony is rumored to have another State of Play, not a whole press conference like the last time, but their normal State of Plays that they do like Nintendo Directs on August 6th. And then Xbox said today how they'll have an event for the Halo multiplayer coming up. So it seems like we're just going to have infinite amount of these fucking events happening, which I'm all down for if we're not getting real E3. It's just hard to keep track of all this shit, especially when one hasn't even ended yet and they say they have another one coming up. And the only other bit of news was we talked last week, I think, about how the debate about $70 games. Did you see Ubisoft says not raising price to $70 for the next-gen games?
Really?
Yeah, which I think is fucking major because Ubisoft is one of the biggest publishers there is. And I feel like...
Could be a time thing.
Yeah, you mean like...
Wait till all the games are coming out next gen.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, cross, both.
That could be, because I feel like if they keep all their games at 60 and every other publisher does 70, they're going to have a lot of pushback from those publishers or a lot of pushback from consumers being like, why are they the only ones doing this? Everybody else trying to rip us off, which we talked about. I think it's completely fair to charge $70, but I feel like that's definitely going to be people's reactions if one publisher is staying like that and every other one isn't. I also wonder where Nintendo factors into this. Are they going to just try and randomly raise their prices to $70 on their system that's always existed at $60? Or are they going to release something new so they have a valid reason to say their games are going up to $70?
Yeah.
Which Nintendo, I think, is the one that matters the most in that. So we talked about if you wait for any of these games, or in the case of Rocket League, sometimes they become free. But if you even wait just like a couple months, you can get them half off. But Nintendo games, you wait years and years, and they're going to be the same price.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's factors in the most if they go $70 because those games are going to stay $70, not go to $30 in 2 months.
Yep.
That's all my news, though. Do you have any media pickups?
I do not.
You don't?
Nope.
Nothing at all?
Just that Mountain Dew Xbox
I gotcha.
that I'm waiting for. I'll probably have some more at the end of the month just because I've told like people. Peter contacts me, my mom contacts me, people contact me. Hey, I found this. Do you want this? And I just say yes.
Yeah.
So there'll probably be some more here and there.
I hear you.
For sure, by the end of this month there'll be some.
Yeah. I gotcha. I don't have.
By the way, is in 7 days. What the hell?
I know. I don't have much either. I did miss this on the vacation episode. I did buy something else besides those 2 seasons of the show. I also bought Moon on Blu-ray. I forgot to tell you that. Which that's one of my, I don't know, I was going to say one of my favorite movies, but maybe that is true. It's definitely, I think, very underrated. And if you haven't watched Moon, you should watch it. It's fantastic.
That's really good.
I got it, I think, for $6 on Blu-ray, and every time I looked at it, it's at least $10, so not that much of a savings, but I was going to buy it at $10 anyway, so might as well save some money.
Yeah, man.
And then the only other thing I did not buy, Danielle got it for me, my amazing girlfriend, for working at my new job. Well, I shouldn't say new job, but my new job for a year, which I can't fucking believe it's been a year until she got me that, but she got it for me there for working for a year, so now I own The Last of Us 2, which
Nice, buddy.
yeah, I'm super excited. Which I can talk about what we've been playing, but I'll let you start.
Okay. What are we watching first, or what are we playing? I just get these always so backwards.
Yeah, I should be playing. Okay, sure I wasn't missing something.
Cool. I played and beat Halo 5. I like the story more than Halo 4. I'm starting to think Halo 4 was the weakest of all of the Halos, which means nothing because they're all great.
Yeah.
Just the character development, man, is really good in 5 compared to the other ones. Like, Buck from the ODST returns,
Yeah,
Nathan
that was
Fillion. For a second, I was like, bro, how are they going to bring him back and pretend like he wasn't an ODST? And I was like, oh, shit. They brought back the Spartan program, and it makes sense. They'd pull from the best of the best from all of the different units. So it's cool to see him back. I know people hate on Locke, but I think you're supposed to hate Locke. He's like so by the books and kind of an asshole and like a yes man and doing what he thinks is best. And he's this character that you love, which is Master Chief, and he's actively trying to pursue him and stop him and arrest him. So I think the hate Locke gets is you're supposed to hate him. And then talking about, because even before the first contact with the Covenant, UNSC would have like rebellions and like civil wars and stuff. So it's kind of see that kind of taking place again with that colony with rampant AI.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of how they hate them, like why are they here and that kind of stuff. So that was really fun to see. Then just like the rebuilding of the Spartan forces, and also I really didn't like playing as Locke as much. Like, I don't want to sit here and
Really?
like, I mean, I get it every few missions, but it seemed like the Locke stuff was a lot longer. I felt I would like to see the ratio of what you play as Locke and what you play as Master Chief, just to see the difference. I felt like he was just there too much.
Before we move on to the next game, I'll talk some more about Halo 5, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
If you're still going Halo 5, go for it.
Yes. I actually got a decent amount here for it.
Okay.
Something else that kind of threw me off was reviving. Like, you go down.
Mm-hmm. So,
technically, you never really die. We can, but it's
yeah.
a little bit harder. A really cool kick-ass cutscene in that one was the Arbiter's cutscene, when they go meet him for the first time, and he's pissed at Locke because once again he's supposed to be someone you hate. He planned to assassinate the Arbiter. I think it was before Arbiter, or was after Arbiter changed, just because he killed so many humans. That scene where he says, let's see, I got the quote here. He's referring to Master Chief as the greatest of your clan. I was like, that's fucking cool as shit. That was really like, damn. But kind of like we talked, the Arbiter's world, it was cool to see his world, but it was like, man, we don't need a, what do they call it, hub world? We just talked about this.
Yeah, hub world, yeah.
I didn't like that. It didn't feel right. Because I feel like Halo's known for their great cutscenes and cinematic feel, and that took me out of it because you're walking around. It's kind of like Anthem. You walk up, and it's this bland face that really has no motion capture, so it's just like, good job, Master Chief. We need to get working on the next thing, though. Go talk to her.
Yeah.
You're like, do. Hey, how's it going, Master Chief? We need to go on the next mission. It's like, Matt, come on. Halo's known as like, it's like a fucking TV show. Why are we sitting here doing this? Yeah, I just have Anthem and Destiny shit, so I didn't like that. A really cool feature that I liked about Locke was the scanning the environment, looking for stuff. I really hope that's in the next Halo. I really enjoyed that feature. Because you'd see ammo, collectibles, all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of running around spamming that thing. It was a really great moment. I wish it was recorded in the game. You would have loved it because I know how you feel about the grunts. The one grunt yelled something along the lines of, I killed him, and it was something like, I want to go home, something like that. You killed him, and he screams that. And then in the distance, you heard Elite say, he died like a hero, or something like that. It was just so ridiculous. I wish it was recorded. Could have been a meme.
That's great, yeah.
The ending. We just talked about that, because I had to refresh my memory what the hell happened at the end. The cliffhanger was amazing, but how did they continue that? Unless Halo Wars does something. Also, I'm glad I waited to play him. I'd be kind of pissed if I had to wait 5 more years.
Yeah.
So now I know how you felt. Or I kind of know how you'd feel.
No, I know what you mean.
But yeah, that's it. That's my feelings on Halo 5.
No, I think that's fair. I didn't really, with the Destiny stuff in the open world, I didn't really think about that. I just kind of was like, this kind of weird, boring mission. I didn't really think about it like that. I didn't like it. I was just like, this kind of boring. I can't believe I consider that a mission. But it could be, like you said, a test bed, and that's why I'm hoping that it's not a complete test bed into Halo Infinite. So I'm with you on that. The story stuff and talking about playing as Locke and not liking him as much. I feel like a lot of people didn't like playing as him, because I don't know if you remember the marketing for the game. A lot of people, they hated the campaign. They thought it was the worst one by far, because marketing for the game was so cool and so much different than what the story actually was, which I think on one hand is a fair complaint, but I think you also have to judge the game for what it is. I feel like those should be separated. You should be able to have a marketing team. That's kind of fucked up, and I feel like a game should be marketed this way, but also judge the game for what it is, not just go off of marketing and be like, well, this isn't what you advertised, and just hating it for that. Because I feel like what is there is super cool, even though it didn't seem like what was advertised, and that seemed really cool. I feel like it was a different thing that was really cool. So I think that's why a lot of people hated Locke, also because they were expected something else in these trailers that they were presenting. And I also think a lot of people hated him for a reason I'm surprised you said, because I know you said you loved playing as the Arbiter, and you're really confused when you figure out people hated it, or people got mad that you switched and weren't playing as Master Chief. And that's actually why I didn't have an issue playing with Locke either. I was like, it's kind of cool seeing a different perspective, and also it worked in this game because you had like a different crew, so you kind of had like different abilities to use. So it didn't bother me. As much as I love Master Chief, and I think he's one of the coolest characters in video games, I think it's cool seeing the other side, just like I did with the Arbiter. And I also think it worked because I think Locke was so cool and his voice is badass too, so it's kind of just like a reverse Master Chief. So for me, that didn't bother me. But I was surprised you felt that way, because I know you were one of the few people like me that liked the Arbiter side and didn't have an issue that you weren't playing as a Master Chief.
And I love Reach and ODST too.
Yeah.
I just felt like, man, you'd see like little glimpses of what Master Chief was doing throughout the campaign. It's like, why can't I be doing that? Like they would roll up on a battle, and it's just like, the Covenant. Did you remember that scene where the Covenant's like crawling?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
everything's destroyed. It's like, oh man, that'd be cool to see
Yeah.
or been part of.
Now that you played 5, it's a little bit of ways because right at the beginning, but I referenced it before I realized you hadn't played 5. Did you think that intro is badass and like stepping out of the chamber and like how it's kind of more cinematic than Halo normally is, and like that elite that grabs you when you're climbing up the ledge? You remember that? And
No.
you're climbing up that wall, and the elite like bends over and grabs you, and he's gonna try and kill you, and the Master Chief stabs him and throws him behind him.
Yeah.
I thought that's
It was cool that they killed the main bad guy right at the beginning.
yeah,
Too.
and I thought that intro was so cool and so much more cinematic than Halo, and that's what I'm saying. As much as I love Halo, and I think there is things that they shouldn't abandon, I feel like there's plenty of things that they've added that I weren't in Halo, and a lot of things I didn't even think should be in Halo that ended up working, and I feel like they shouldn't abandon it. Maybe I'll be wrong, just like I was with that, but I feel like they did learn a lot of things, and a lot of things did work in Halo that maybe shouldn't have.
I liked it. Then I started Halo Wars 2. Once again, the cutscenes. I think it's so important in
Oh,
Halo.
they're so great.
Oh, so good in Halo Wars 2 too. And the bad guy is amazing and will be great for
Yeah.
Halo Infinite.
How far are you?
It was maybe a second or third mission.
Oh, okay. I was making sure you're going farther than me.
He's just so cool. He beat
No,
the
I
shit.
love him.
But the crazy part that made me, I think I have it here too. I do not. But does this mean the whole time you're playing Halo 1 through 4? Halo 4. You think there's only one Spartan. But technically, floating out in space, you have Red Team.
Mm-hmm.
So there's technically still Spartans left.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was just cool for me to think
No,
about
it is.
the lore. It's like,
Yeah.
technically he wasn't the last one. He's such a good bad guy that it's like, once again, I want him to win. I love a great bad guy like that where it's like, yes, I want him to win. There is some corny stuff that I don't like the little emblems for when you're roaming around and you find power sources. They're batteries.
Oh, yeah.
Like holographic batteries, and so it kind of takes you
Yeah.
out of it because like that's so corny. The graphics don't look that different from Halo 1 either.
You don't think so?
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah, I think they're quite a bit improved, especially, I don't know if you zoomed in or not. You can use the left stick, I think,
A
to
little bit.
pan in a lot, and I think that's where you can really see the detail. I feel like if you're up higher, you kind of just see a flat surface, so it's hard to tell, but if you zoom in, there's so much more detail, and
Really?
yeah, I think way better art style.
I should definitely do that. But yeah, man, I don't know who wrote the Halo Wars 2 story, but they've done a good job so far. Clearly, it was good enough too to continue in the
Yeah.
actual series. Which the spin-off wise, you don't see that too often. That
No, definitely.
it would make sense for people to skip Halo Wars 2 and go straight into Halo Infinite, and you'd be really confused. So I'm excited to finish Halo Wars 2. I'm sad it got spoiled, but
Yeah.
I kind of expected it. It's a long ass game.
Yeah.
It's like 8 hours, and then like the DLC is like 5, and the other DLC is like 3. It's like 16 hours.
You gonna try and do all the DLC too?
Yeah, I want to.
Okay, I will too then. Well, I was gonna anyways, but I mean for our thing.
Yeah, because I just want to know more about the story for Infinite.
Yeah. Anything else? Or just all Halo all the time?
On my Switch, I've been playing the NES Classic games, thanks to you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And then just playing Dragon Warrior. Trying to go through slowly because I know it's the end of it, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. But I bought Star Wars: The Knights of the Old Republic. I do those Google reviews, the things Ryan told us about.
Yeah.
It gives you money. I made like $20 on there, man.
Oh,
I was
really?
buying games with that for free. So yeah, that'll be the next phone game I'll play.
I gotcha.
Just funny, I've been playing actually not phone games, just ports.
Yeah,
But yeah, so far that's it.
I gotcha. I actually haven't played any more Halo Wars 2, which I'm sad because I need to, and that was my plan last week. But then I said I got The Last of Us 2 unexpectedly, so that changed plans. Not that I want to put in more or anything, just like always, just so many games. Like, oh, what can I play? And also, like I said, I want to stream, but there's only so many games that make sense to stream. So kind of it's a battle of everything right now. But I think I put probably 4 or 5 hours in The Last of Us 2. And as of now, I'm not going to spoil anything and talk about story points, especially because I know you haven't played it, but even more so than that, I know everybody loves to ruin the second one, so I'm not going to do that. And also, it might be hard to talk about going forward because my opinions could change based off the story, so I might have to step around or not give my full opinions. It might not make sense because I don't want to ruin anything. If I do or don't say anything, I think you'll know what happens. But as of now, I'm even more confused about the reaction and feel like it had to be people's opinions on things other than the game, because visually it's one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen. The graphics are obviously better, but like even the art style and the landscape and the different environments I think are easily better than the first one. The motion capture and the performances are something you don't even see in games. And like I said, as much as I love games, I feel like story wise is the biggest issue in struggle in most games. And this game, it seems like a fucking movie, and not a lot of people that use it as an insult, but I feel like it uses it in a way that it seems natural when they're doing stuff and doesn't seem corny or anything. Even there's some corny parts, but movies have that. And not even just the story and the performance things, it's more even the gameplay feels so much more natural and fluid than the first one. It almost feels a little bit like the Tomb Raider reboot, which I love those games, and I could see to a point if people really, really love the stealth stuff, why you could have an issue with it, maybe not like the game as much. I still don't think it deserves the hate it's getting. I feel like I'd feel like, oh man, they kind of got away from that. But I feel like it's actually a better balance because you can still completely play the game completely stealth and just do that, and you'll save so much ammo and get so much more. But I feel like it's a better balance of if you screw that up, you're not totally screwed, and they give you a little more ammo and you can survive it. It's not just a straight up shooter and you don't have to worry about being stealthy. I just feel like it's a better balance of not getting screwed over if you're not perfectly stealthy, which I do not like playing stealth games, so I feel like that's why the first game was such a struggle for me and why I told you I stopped playing the first time. So I feel like this is a better balance, but like I said, also, if you are that kind of person, doesn't abandon it. So unless something changes, I'm fucking confused what the hate is about this game. Besides that, I put a little bit of MCC, just some multiplayer. Played some Smash Bros. I think I forgot to mention that last week too, just trying to get more of the characters because I want to start playing again when you guys are over and everything. I feel like you used to do all the time. It was a lot of fun. So I've been trying to get more of the characters because there's fucking endless amount of characters on there and I don't have close to all of them yet. And then play a little more Sunset Overdrive because that's another reason why I haven't went too much more into Halo Wars, because I know if I leave that behind I won't finish all these side missions and everything, and I want to at least do that. So that's all I've been playing this week, though. Hopefully get more into the things I've talked about recently.
Yeah, man. It's a good mix.
Yeah, it'll be hard since The Last of Us is there. I want to know what happens next, and especially because nothing's been spoiled for me yet, so I'm like, oh shit, I want to know where the story goes.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what is hard for me to remember sometimes, that this is a hobby.
Yeah,
it's not a part-time job. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. This is your free time. You're supposed to enjoy this.
Yeah, like I said, I think sometimes I definitely had a struggle, and I think I've gotten better at that. But a lot of times when I'm talking like that, it's not even a struggle like, oh man, I gotta play this game. Like I said, I feel like I've, for the most part, got rid of that. It's more of a struggle like, man, I want to play all these things. So it's a battle of, not a battle of like, oh, I gotta play this game because people are talking about it, or I gotta play this guy, I gotta stream something. It's actually wanting to do all of it. Like, man, I want to play Halo so bad and know what happens in Halo Wars.
Yeah, man.
But The Last of Us is there, and I want to play that, and I like to stream because that was fun doing that. So it's not even a battle of, because I know what you mean. I definitely have done that. I still do sometimes. But now I've gotten to the point where I try to get rid of that more so it's a battle of loving the hobby so much that it's hard to decide what I want to do most with it.
So really, it's a good problem to have.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think even like the collecting aspect for me, especially the last couple of weeks, it's become like a fucking job. I get OCD about it. Like my cat chewed on the corner of a box, and I was like, it's like my OCD goes through the roof. I'm like, oh god, and it's like all I can think, and it's so obsessive. And then yesterday I just had to stop. I was like, Cody, it's not your job. You're supposed to be enjoying this, and I just let it all go.
So, no, I hear you.
So
yeah. No, I'm not perfect. I didn't figure out the magic recipe. I know I did do that a lot, so I try to get away from it. And even now, I still don't think I do it perfect, but I think it's definitely a better mix of just going crazy over the stuff I want to do most, not like, oh, God, I got to do this thing. Because I feel like I have gotten better at getting rid of that.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the podcast has really helped me
Yeah.
get through my backlog, especially here the last few weeks, which is what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. And like you said, it is a good problem to have because kind of like with Game Pass when we talk about if you told our kid, like not our kids, if you told ourselves that, if you could go back in time, or what? That's not possible. If you go back in time when you were stuck on one game, that's all you had, and that's why you sometimes play shitty games and had fun with terrible games, and probably why we didn't see, I mean, we were kids, but I think part of the 64 days and everything is that that's all we had, so we didn't see a problem with it. We're like, no, we just got to play this. This game's fun. I feel like that's a good issue to have because, like you said, if we go back in time that and show us that, we'd be like, man, you can have all these games. We'd fucking lose our minds over that.
Because I loved Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Video,
Oh, yeah.
you know, all those places, movie gallery. To tell me I could have that, but I pay the price of like 2 rentals or 1 rental, and it was an insane amount of games, and there was no need to take it back and nothing like that. It would blow my mind. Once again, you know, Sega was ahead of their time with the Sega Channel.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I feel like I got to taste that, and I knew how good it was because I said, I was like, this is fucking awesome. So what have you been watching?
Well, we're going through a lot of the backlog of the media collecting, too.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Death of Stalin. I was really wanted to watch that when we were in Boston when it came out, when I saw Steel Battalion, R.I.P. But, so right after it came out on Blu-ray, I actually found it at Blu-ray at Goodwill. But it was a European release. I don't know how the hell it ended up there, especially right after coming out. But, man, it was a really good movie.
Really?
It was really funny. And I think it's the funniest movie of 2018 because that was a shitty year for comedies, if you go look at that list.
I was gonna agree, but I actually don't know what did or didn't come out, so yeah, I'd have to check.
Oh, man. The only thing I could think that would compete with is Deadpool.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. But of course it was banned in Russia and Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, which those are obviously ex-Soviet Union, and they're huge sympathizers of it. But from what I can tell, it's pretty historical, on par with kind of what happened. Especially, you know, it's almost like they're trying to rewrite history or something and pretend Stalin was a good guy. What's that game company that's the communists? They come out with they had a picture of Stalin in their headquarters. And
Oh, I remember hearing about that. I can't remember who it was, though.
Did they read a history book? It was a piece of shit. Just go watch that movie, because it's a comedy and they make fun of it, but it's truly how it was. At least from what I can tell. But yeah, it's on Netflix.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so it's just pop that up, go watch it. I really enjoyed it. I was laughing so hard. If you enjoy historical stuff and you kind of know the history of things, it's pretty funny. It had a worldwide total of $24.6 million, but only cost about $13 million to make, so they didn't make a ton of money on it. And I'm going to say it, but I think the movie industry is pretty sympathetic towards communists, so that movie I felt like got buried. But I feel like it should have won some awards and been bigger than what it was, but
I was going to say, I should only remember hearing about it. Who's in it?
Steve Buscemi plays, God damn it, the guy that plays Stalin, I forget his name. Steve Buscemi, it's not too big of names in it, but man, I recommend it.
Okay.
Then I also, Jimmy Valiant, 50th Pro Wrestling Anniversary Celebration. This is kind of like he's a wrestler I liked a lot. He lived near Blacksburg, Virginia.
Oh, yeah?
I think I've talked about it on the show before, but he's a really nice guy. So they did a collection of his, they combined all of his big wrestling matches, news reports, little mini documentaries, all through the years from the 60s to now, well, till like 2012. And so it's just like 2 DVDs worth of just going through of every piece of video and matches. They did something, though, that I wish the WWE Network would do, which is like played the pre-match interviews and historical information before the matches, because WWE Network, so you can turn on matches at WrestleMania, but leading up to WrestleMania that whole year, there's storylines of importance and discussion of like how things, came to be in that WrestleMania. So you don't know the importance of some of these matches you watch on there.
Yeah.
And I wish WWE Network would organize itself so you could figure out those things. I was watching some of the indie matches that he's part of, because once WWE like removes you off the roster, you kind of bounce around to indie or smaller wrestling things. But the indie matches I was watching on there was better than some of the new stuff WWE is doing. And it almost kind of felt like a YouTube channel on DVD form. It was the weirdest feeling I had watching something. But you can get the DVD on eBay. His wife posts them. I strongly recommend it. It's really good if you like wrestling, historical stuff. He was the first tag team. Him and his brother was the first tag team inducted in the Hall of Fame. They were actually inducted with Vince McMahon Sr. And just hearing how Vince McMahon Sr. hunted him down and found them and made him the star, it was just interesting. And it kind of seems like Vince McMahon, his son, kind of removed him from that kind of when he was erasing all the stuff his dad did. The next movie I watched was Evil Speak, which is another 80s corny horror movie, I guess you'd say. Almost like a knockoff of Carrie. You ever watch Carrie?
No, I know what it is.
Yeah, so it's like a revenge flick.
Yeah.
It's a real slow-ass start. Almost like it feels like Revenge of the Nerds. You have Clint Howard. You know who that is? Really weird-looking guy.
That name sounds familiar.
He's the brother of Ron Howard, but they look nothing alike.
Okay.
And once you see him, I think you know who he is. It kind of blew my mind that he's his brother. It's just a good revenge flick. Kind of this nerdy guy gets bullied a bunch and then kind of summons like some demon shit and takes revenge. But yeah, that's me slowly going through all my...
Yeah, no, I know him.
You know, that's Ron Howard's brother.
I did not know that.
They look nothing alike.
Isn't he in a lot of Adam Sandler movies, or am I making that up?
Yes, I think he was.
I thought he used to be like part of the crew that Adam Sandler takes to every movie.
He might have been, yeah.
But also, I feel like speaks to, when we're talking about Adam Sandler being down-to-earth guy and super normal, the fact that he just has a crew that comes with him to every movie. And obviously, it's like his friends. He says, "Oh, you're part of this movie too."
That's great. But yeah, that's all I've watched. Trying to get through all these ridiculous amount of DVDs I've bought.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't watch much this week. Me and Danielle went to another drive-in. I feel like I'm saying that every week now. A lot of times I told you they've been like smaller drive-ins, like at our mall here, stuff like that. But a few of the times have been an actual drive-in. I don't know. Have you been to South Drive-In?
For flea markets.
I was gonna. Yeah, they advertise that. It's real trashy. I thought you'd love that.
I love their flea markets.
I think you'd also
sold there a few times too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think you'd also love it for a drive-in. It's I definitely want to watch a brand new movie there that I haven't seen like that. The speakers are blown out and you can hear it, but it's like real like crackety the whole time, and the concession stand is real run down. It's all just real old, but I feel like that kind of fits the drive-in vibe, so it's kind of cool. I said I don't want to watch movies I haven't or have already seen there or don't really care about, so that I can watch them there like that.
You know, I watched a documentary on drive-ins about this this famous one that they kind of rebuilt.
No.
It's just kind of great watching the Corona thing because movie theaters kind of killed them. And
yeah.
It's kind of like revenge.
So.
Sorry, I hate to interrupt again.
Oh, you're good.
Because I'm going to forget about this. But what do you think about, I know stand-ups are doing it that way. In concerts, I could see concerts going that route.
Yeah, AJR actually just announced doing a concert
Really?
like that in Philadelphia. I kind of was surprised it didn't happen yet, and I get it, and bands are going to want to start making money, especially if this goes long-term. It also seems, this again, darker, but I always think about this stuff because I feel like nobody thinks, not that I'm the only one, and but in general, I feel like people don't think about this stuff till it happens. I feel like we just move from something to the next issue and then wait for something to happen. If you're letting all these cars into a concert, I feel like there's no way to have security if somebody's going to have a gun in the car and starts going crazy and especially with like famous people if they want to do something. I don't know how you're gonna even stop that.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah, and then aside from that, if somebody just wants to start up their car and start going crazy, I mean, people should be in their cars, but for one, I think they're gonna have a huge problem keeping everybody in their car when people are playing concert. I'm sure they'll have security or something, but I feel like it's gonna be hard to keep people inside their car. And then I feel like a cool aspect of it could be like when bands are trying to get like people to cheer or like have a rhythm to it or whatever, you could use your horns or your light or your headlights to do like instead of lighters.
A lot of stand-up comedians are doing that right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with the honking and.
Oh, I didn't know that. Like I said, I noticed. Maybe that's where I got the idea. I didn't think of it, but at the crew game, people are doing that when they're scoring goals.
Really?
But I feel like even that could backfire. Is how dumb people are, like starting their car and or like hitting their gas by an accident or something. Even though that shouldn't be completely separate. Especially because I don't know if they're gonna be like concessions at these kind of things. If people can buy alcohol and then start driving their cars, or so there's just a lot of weird things. But yeah, the gun thing was the biggest thing I thought about because I feel like when concerts were normal and doing it, that was like the biggest thing. Like, no, you can't do that, and there's way too big of protection. And it's like, yeah, just bring this whole car that could be a massive bomb or whatever you want. It just seems kind of weird, but. Like I said, I know it's thinking in a dark way. I feel like just a lot of people don't think about this stuff till it happens, and that becomes a discussion.
Also, like seating.
Yeah.
Like positioning. Because OSU told us when we do parking this year for football season, they just want people at the entrance, and then it's a free-for-all. Wherever they park is where they park. It would be a fucking mess.
Yeah, I think in theory it's cool. I don't know. A band like AGR, I feel like I almost don't even know if that's worth it because they're so about like interacting with the crowd and the fun is like jumping up and getting crazy. I feel like if it's like a classic band or something, it'd be cool to go see and just listen to music. But if it's a band like that where you're like trying to get into it, I feel like it'd be kind of awkward just to sit in a car.
You know who would love this though?
Who's that?
Ryan.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I would too because unless it's someone I really like, I'm kind of an old man about that shit too.
Yeah. He'd definitely fall asleep though. He falls asleep standing up.
I had an AGR concert.
Yeah. No, Walk the Moon.
Walk the Moon.
Yeah. But yeah, the drive-in. Danielle's birthday's coming up, and with everything going on, there's not much to be able to do for birthdays. So I decided just to. She already knows this, where it's gonna do a few different kind of smaller events to spread out and keep it going instead of just doing something on her birthday. So we're to the drive-in to watch Dirty Dancing and Bohemian Rhapsody. I've actually never seen Dirty Dancing all the way through. It's one of those movies. Yeah, I'd say it's one of those movies. I've seen like parts of it that I might as well have seen. I could have told you pretty much everything, but.
And what Jordy that was filmed in Blacksburg?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. And that movie is not my kind of movie at all. But I thought it was a good movie. I liked it. Which.
Yeah.
Oh, do you? I thought you were gonna be like.
Oh, I love that movie.
Oh, I thought you were gonna make fun of me like crazy.
No.
Okay. Yeah. And then the second movie I already knew I loved it was Bohemian Rhapsody, which if you haven't seen that. Oh, you haven't yourself?
No,
I was telling the audience, yeah, you would fucking love that movie. And then besides that, I just watched the Crew's last tournament game, another shutout. They shut out every game they played in the tournament so far.
Yeah, I wish there was more meaning behind this tournament, though.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know exactly how all of it works, and the fact that it does go towards your regular season, I think is going to be a big deal. But it does seem odd. We're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Mainly I was admiring the fact that, like, normally when we do this with my old glasses, it's real hard for me to read that.
Oh,
These new ones, it was like, what the fuck? Okay.
I hear ya. But also, this excites me. We talked a lot about, on our earlier episodes, we go deep into sports and how they work and everything, and I feel like we haven't done that as much, and we don't have to right now, but I just want to talk about it for a second. I'm excited. Like I said, the Crew's dominating and shut out literally every game, which is awesome. I'm just mentioning my team, but the leagues are all starting up, which is cool. The Reds start tomorrow and on their way to the World Series, and then you have the Blue Jackets starting their playoffs on August 2nd, so it's all just coming together real fast, and all has a lot of big upside to it with the teams I talked about. So I'm just really excited.
This feels like a different hockey season.
Yeah.
Almost
yeah,
is.
It definitely does, yeah. I guess one thing I could say, we don't have to get too deep into sports, like I said, but you talked a lot about how you feel like these seasons aren't going to count towards like the overall, like, your history. And like I said, I feel like they should because everybody's on the same page. Like, everybody has the same chance. I feel like MLS is the highest one so far where I think that is more of a debate because I don't know if I told you, if you heard, 2 of the teams aren't even playing the tournament because they had so many cases that they dropped out.
Wow.
So I feel like that is a harder argument because, well, these teams didn't have near as good a chance because they weren't even in the tournament because, like I said, this goes towards your regular season. But, so I think that is a fair argument and makes it more of a question if that should be a part of history or not. But, like I said, if it happens to your team, you're going to feel different. For me, I would be fucking just as happy if the Crew won and I would be excited. But I think I could be realistic if somebody was really... I'd play it up and be dumb. No, we won it. And it's exactly the same. But if I was being honest, I'd be like, yeah, this one's a little more questionable because some teams weren't even playing in the tournament. But I feel like if your team wins, nobody's going to talk like that. They're just going to be like, yeah, we won, and not reference it. It's a little different. I think unless something changes in the other sports so far, I think it is still what I said, that it's a fair debate because there hasn't been any teams dropping out, which I don't think is going to happen. I could be wrong. I wouldn't have guessed that in MLS either. There is some players that have bailed out and aren't going to play. And I was like, well, that's maybe a fair point because these are some big-time players leaving, so I feel like that team instantly got worse. But I was like, even that, I don't think is a fair argument because that happens in a regular season anyways. And like the year the Buckeyes won a national championship, we were missing fucking half our team, and if we lost, everybody would have said the same thing. They were like, well,
2 quarterbacks, too.
Yeah. They were like, well, they were missing most of their team, and I know they fucking lost. So I feel like that should go both ways and shouldn't factor into this not counting just because certain players aren't going to play.
Yeah.
Like I said, I feel like the team thing, that's a little more of a debate. But
well, honestly, even if you have star players, you should have some backups and have plans in developing other players. And I know college is a little bit different because you're constantly developing people. But a great example of that is the Cavs after LeBron left.
Yeah.
They're in the fucking championship and almost won, and then they missed the tournament completely.
Yeah, now they're not even part of this season anymore.
Yeah, dude, what? Like, it's a clear sign that if that's true, if you're really relying heavily on a few players, you have a pretty unhealthy team.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm excited for it.
Because what would you do if those people got injured?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, and that does happen in a regular season without this, so I feel like maybe that's a debate, but I don't feel like it's a fair argument to say that you didn't win because of that, because people don't use that as a fair argument when this isn't happening. But we'll talk more about sports on later episodes. I know this episode's already going long, as normal. The free games this week, you got on Xbox One, WRC 8, the official game, till July 31st. And Dunk Lords till August 15th. That name's so great. On 360, you got Juju till July 31st. And on PlayStation Plus, you got Rise of the Tomb Raider, NBA 2K20, and Erica till August 3rd. You have any fake outrage?
No.
Oh, looks like it's going to go into real outrage.
The real outrage is the fact that right now Communist China is burning documents, and probably already did. Go ahead, look into that because the media won't talk about that.
Well, I have some fake outrage.
Oh,
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
So we talked about the Redskins earlier and how offensive their name is. And I was thinking how offensive every other team name is. And I could have a whole list. This could be a whole episode. But I zeroed in on one that I think is highly offensive and literally goes against the Redskins. And we call them America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, even though Cowboys are known for killing Indians. And yet we call them America's team. Is that because America loves killing Native Americans and taking their land? Is that what this is? Is that why the Cowboys are America's team? Because definitely not because they're good, because they fucking sucked for 2 decades now.
Almost 2.5.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we're going to get rid of the Redskins, I feel like the Cowboys have to be next. Just by proxy.
You joke, but I could see this happening.
It's fucking. Obviously, I hate the Cowboys, but I know that's not what they're going for, and everybody that has common sense knows that's not what they're doing. But how ridiculous people are. That's literally a thing. Cowboys versus Indians. I was like, I don't know what those kind of people, how they're not reacting to that yet.
Yeah, I never even thought about that. I mean, we could even talk about Damn it! What was a great example of? Oh, see, this is gonna piss me off now. You can talk about the Vikings, the Patriots. There's plenty of, as they call us, the Caucasians, which makes no sense because the Caucasus region, I don't understand where that even comes from because no, I'm not Russian. You could say European. That would make sense. That includes the Caucasus. Or I think even the Caucasus might even be Asia.
You ever been to the Caucasus?
Caucasus?
Yeah, that's what Joe Biden asked when he called a guy a lion doll-faced pony soldier. Yes, I have. No,
That's
you
right.
haven't. You're a lion dog-faced pony soldier.
Ah, damn it. There's a really good... the Cavaliers.
No, yeah.
That's another perfect example. That was originally used as a derogatory term in England towards white people. So it doesn't make any sense to me. And this argument about Mount Rushmore tearing it down also doesn't make sense to me. Because they're like, it belonged to this this Indian nation. But then you look at the history of those Indian nations, they've traded off back and forth over conquesting each other.
Yeah. And the Cowboys are literally, in the real life, are rivals of the Redskins. So, it's even more so. If you're ridiculous like that, how you put that together? Well, why are they rivals? I wonder.
Don't get me started on the Seahawks either. Wait, isn't the Seahawks logo Inuit?
A what?
Inuit, like
Is that
Alaskan Native Americans?
Is it really?
I think so. I think that...
I didn't know that. I thought it was just a type of bird that they randomly picked they thought was cool in Seattle.
Let's see.
Because I thought white people made fun of them, that they just picked a cool name and just made that theirs, even though it's not a bird there.
Here it is a transformation mask of the Kawaka tribe found in our book called The Art of the Northwest Coast Indians. So, I don't know if these are terms of endearment, because if you look at the white people, or the teams named after Caucasians, like it's almost terms of endearment. I don't...
That's my other point of the Redskins. Even if it actually was meant as a bad thing, which I don't think it was, but even if it was, I feel like unless you're really messed up, I feel like majority of people, Redskins fans, think it's cool now and respect it and brings attention to them in a cool way and like pays homage to them. So even if it started out as something bad, I feel like it's morphed into something else. So I feel like it's weird to think of it as something other than that.
I'd love to talk to Native Americans about this.
Yeah.
What they think.
I'd love to talk to them about it, but I'm sure there is some that care. There's some, that's why I feel like the whole argument of if you do it for one person, then if one person offended, you have to stop. I feel like it's the scariest point in the world because there's always going to be somebody that cares. But I would love to talk about them, but I feel like, or to them about it, but I feel like majority of them, but I don't know if I can care. I don't even want to talk about this.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me.
Well,
you guys
like
can watch your football.
The Seminoles, like people got pissed at that.
Yeah.
And the Seminole tribe's like, whoa, dude, we really appreciate it. And
Yeah.
it makes us proud. I don't know. It's so weird.
Should we end it there? I know
Yeah, I just dug myself a grave.
I just gave you the layup and then you just slammed it in. As always, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at currentbacklog. And you can email any corrections, questions, or feedback to currentbackloggers@gmail.com. And don't forget, make sure you get your pre-orders in before midnight tonight for Folklore, Taylor Swift's 8th album.
Is it going to be on Spotify?
I'm sure it will. She's been doing all of her. That's how she did her last album right away on there, so I think so. So
I'm not paying for it.
Well, I'll have it for you anyways, don't worry. But yeah, I would assume it's going to be. So I think that's probably a great point to end it. Just make sure you get Folklore and not
Actually, just end our life.
Not the PS3 exclusive, but Taylor Swift's new album.
Bye.